You, stop rolling that camera. Put that camera away now.
Nah, picture me rolling, tip of my chauffeur. Niggas look jealous, you gotta control it. Reaching my quota, mixing my soda. Feeling connected to God, trying to get closer. Stepping on roaches, me and my loasters. Just trying to get over, try not to get swallowed by locusts. Trying to stay focused, kinda like Moses. Like somebody chose us, sweat on my shoulder. I feel these emotions, but still I keep going. I've been to a poet, I've been through the motions. I'm feeling heroic, but life is a dice game, and they dare you to blow it. You might get a strike, man, but that ain't gonna pay for the strollers. It's never enough to console her. Tell her your daddy a soldier. She needs you right now in this moment. Now dead on your back, push your roses. So me, I'm just carving the sculpture and fine-tuning my approaches. Doubling back as an owner. The moment of truth is opponents, call them promoters.
Picture me rolling with my friends, not a worry. Then we get stopped by the police. Gotta make it home to my baby. 'Cause these days niggas go crazy. Gotta make it home to my baby. 'Cause these days they say me. Gotta make it home to my baby. Hold up, yeah, look. I bet I'ma make it home to my baby. Yeah, I bet I'ma make it home to my baby. I said, I bet I'ma make it home to your baby.
One of the greatest empires in world history was the Mali Empire. The Mali Empire was one of the most prosperous and powerful empires in the antiquity of Africa. Its growth and expansion from the 13th century onwards was legendary and pivotal in the history and culture of Western Africa. The Mali Empire Volume 1 from author J.P. Martin, available on Amazon, is a book which provides the full historical record of the Mali Empire. From their control over the trans-Saharan trade routes and development of great cities such as Timbuktu, to their influential royal class who produced notable African kings such as Mansa Musa, Sundiata Keita, and Mansa Abubakar Keita II, the Mali Empire made a significant impression. This book is perfect for anyone interested in learning more about the history of Western Africa. Order your copy right now on Amazon. The Mali Empire, Volume 1, from author J.P. Martin. Go to Amazon.com and get your copy today.
In the tapestry of time, every family has a story to tell, but memories captured in old photos can fade away, lost to the ravages of time. Don't let your cherished memories slip away. Digitizing your family photos is the first step to preserving your legacy. At Legacy Planning and Preservation, we specialize in preserving your family's history. Secure your memories for generations to come. Preserve the past, protect the future. Visit our website now and take the first step to preserving your family's legacy. Don't wait. The moments captured in those photos won't last forever.
Peace, family. I hope all is well. Let me check the settings real quick. Give me a second. Here we go. Audio. Okay, we're good to go. I hope all is well. I hope your Monday is going well. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. I had to give up the other streaming platform I was using. I had to come back to StreamYard. I just I had to come back to StreamYard. It was just too much. It was too much. StreamYard is more easier to navigate and all that good stuff. So we are back on StreamYard. So soon I'll put the link in the chat room where you guys can call in. Once again, hit the like button, make sure you share and subscribe. Have a couple of announcements. Announcement number one, Senegal. We are rolling to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. Again, we are rolling to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. We will love to have you. Please visit Danfo, that's DANFO .Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, DANFO .Africa to learn more. I guess I got to get a new camera. Oh, here we go. We're back now. Please visit Danfo, DANFO .Africa to learn more. We will love to have you. And that is May 12th through the 22nd. May 12th through the 22nd. Also, while you were there, make sure you buy the documentary. So this button up here that says documentary, click on that button and make sure you go and buy the documentary, the #1 documentary when it comes to connecting back to Africa and building that bridge. So make sure you click on that documentary button and buy the documentary. It's streamed right here. You think Fani's going to the slammer? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling that call's been made saying, listen, we know Fani has effed up royally, but take it easy on her. But I don't know. We're going to watch some of the footage from the case, and then we're going to tie it all back in to reparations. Because I keep hearing, the argument is, why our Black lawyers ain't out there fighting for reparations for us, getting us reparations? Well, number one, the average African-American, Black American, they're not interested in reparations. That's just a reality. And I guess, a lawyer putting money and his resources and time into argue reparations versus George Floyd here we go. What makes more sense or what's more profitable for a lawyer to put his time or her time into and resources to trying to get reparations, or unarmed black man gets shot by the police and getting 30% of a settlement check? You tell me, I don't know. Or you get in a car accident or whatever else, is whatever else lawyers do. I don't think lawyers find the value in going after reparations. But at the same time, man, this whole case, man, this whole Fani Willis, Nathan Wade case, it's been an absolute show. It's been an absolute show. This whole, at this point, y'all drop all the charges against Trump and just let that man cook. I think I got some sound effects now. Hold on, I got some sound effects. Let me, hold on, Bono brand. Do I got some sound effects? At this point, drop the charges against Trump and let that man cook. That's all I'm saying. Because it's just making people like Fani Willis look bad. All her business in the street. But again, let's just listen. No, man, y'all got it. If y'all haven't heard the testimony, prepare. And this is a lawyer. This is the top cop. And if you're a lawyer, And if you watch this, if you're keeping up with this case, you should be upset. You should be upset about what's going on. You should be upset how, in regards to how this practice is just looking bad right now. I'm like, God damn, this is a lawyer. I'm like, dang, this is a lawyer. And guys, listen, we're not going to watch the entire testimony because the entire testimony is pretty it's pretty long, but we're going to watch as much as possible. Here we go. Let's fair use. Let's see. I want to get the entire testimony. We're going to watch this, and this is going to tie back into reparations and just the state of just the state of the community and our professionals, whatever you want to call it in general, because this was just bad. It was embarrassing. I don't know what else to say. And for anybody, and the way she was acting and her attitude, and you actually got people on some, yeah, get them, girl. Get them, girl. Stand on business, girl. Get them, girl. You go get them. Like, come on now. Here we go.
TurboTax now offers a lifetime guarantee when you file your taxes.
TurboTax guarantees 100% accurate calculations, audit support, and maximum refund for.
We need a written here
Fair
to
use.
go over all of this and to explain exactly what happened. So he was asked the court that the court allowed Ms. Willis to be called and interrogated on these matters.
And I would too, Your Honor.
Just a moment, Ms. Willis.
Guys, let me back up for a second. Yes, I saw that. Trump, and they sold out. Trump's shoes sold out quicker than Jay's. They were $3.99 for $400, and I believe it. And I told people are like, "Oh man, them Trump shoes are ugly." I said it ain't about that. It's about the resale. I wish I would have known. I would have bought 3 pair, and I would have resold them. And I believe it. They're selling for what, 10 racks? They're reselling for $10,000. Here we go. Did you see Trump shoes that were selling for $400 and people are reselling them for $10,000? That's the thing. It's the resale. And actually, the shoes are pretty. Listen, if the shoes were white or black and not gold, I might rock a pair. But I'm not walking around in no gold shoes. But they're still clean. Like, the shoes are actually clean, and people are hating. But I said, listen, it's not about the shoe. It's about the resale. Let's get back to this. So let me set this up. So DA Fani Willis, you had interrogations or whatever you call them. People get on the stand and get questioned. I guess Fani Willis decided to come down and bum rush the courtroom. She just standing and she just pulls up. She basically just pulled up. Like, what's up? I'm going to get on here. I'm going to tell my truth. And it was just such a bad look, man. It was, oh, goodness. So we're going to watch some of it. There are some key highlights that are hilarious, but let's go and get to it.
So, Ms. Cross, I don't know if you want to speak with Ms. Willis now. It's sounding like maybe they're withdrawing the objection to the motion.
I believe the motion to.
Or does Ms. Willis want to take the lead here?
We'll withdraw the motion to quash Ms. Willis based on the. I'm ready to go.
Okay, so.
He said, I'm ready to go.
Position of the district attorney at this point.
He said, I'm ready to go.
Contesting the subpoena. Ms. Merchant has called her as the next witness.
He mad.
I would ask, I need 3 documents in front of me.
Now imagine if lawyers would have put this much of energy as they are behind reparations, like they are with this Trump case. That's, listen, they ain't got nothing. They're wasting taxpayer dollars and our time chasing Donald Trump. I'm sorry. They ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing there. Okay, that's just the reality of it. So the amount of energy we're putting towards Trump. Fani Willis could be putting that behind reparations. All right, let's go.
And the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant. 3 filings. Does anyone
this is
have the
another
3
good.
filings of Ms. Merchant? Does the court have the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant?
When you say the filings, you mean like the pleadings?
The pleadings, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I think we could locate those for you in the supplemental.
I want the one filed on January the 8th, the one filed immediately after we filed ours, and the final one.
If you want to take a break to get them, I can make a copy. I think we have one.
All right, we are back on the record. Deputy Scott, if you could swear in our next witness.
I would, and I do apologize. Hannah, do me a favor. Put 'em on these reading glasses. After you swear, don't put 'em on these.
She said she needed reading glasses.
Swear, you can go ahead and swear this. I don't know what the court.
Yeah, this was a good look. She got up here and just made herself look bad.
Yes, sir. District Attorney Fani, Fani. Last name is Willis.
Ms. Willis, how did you know to come into the courtroom right then?
There were people I was pacing in my office,
Okay.
and I heard someone yell, "His testimony is done." It only made sense to me that I would be your next witness, and I've been very anxious to have this conversation with you today.
Uh-oh.
So I ran to the court.
Very anxious. Come down here and
As
make
soon
yourself
as,
look bad.
You heard that Mr. Wade was done testifying. That's when
Luke
Oh,
Bryan,
God. Come on, man.
Mind of a Country
Mercy.
Boy tour with
Mercy.
special guests.
you just assumed you would be the next witness.
It only makes sense.
Did you listen to any of the testimony?
I've been in my office pacing, ma'am.
Did you listen to any of the arguments?
I did hear the arguments this morning. It's ridiculous to me that you lied on Monday.
Uh-oh.
Yet here we
Uh-oh.
and I did listen to that argument.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Uh-oh.
All right, so that was it, just the argument, no testimony.
Right, I listened to the argument this morning where Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job pointing out how dishonest you were with the court on Monday. And I'm actually surprised that the hearing continued, but since it did, here I am.
Great. So let's just talk about what you did in preparation for today. Did you meet with Mr. Wade at all? Once the motion was filed, did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you?
On this first January motion?
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So I don't know that it was a conversation. As you know, Mr. Wade is a Southern gentleman. Me, not so much.
I mean, come on, man. Oh, God.
I didn't have a substantive conversation.
You did not.
I read this motion, skimmed it more so, and I've probably said some choice things to him about some of the lies they were told.
Okay.
And then printed in the media because, we used to be in a day and time where you had 60 Minutes and people did stories and they verified information, and you had this great reporting. But it seems today that a lawyer writes a lie and then it's printed for all of the world to see.
Oh, man, here we go.
I just want to make sure that you're
Just being combative.
So
Come on,
my question
Vanny.
was,
Overruled, Mr. Abadi.
I told you what happened. I read the motion. I am sure I told him what my opinion of it is.
Okay.
And past that, we had no substantive conversation.
You did not.
Jay, let you not being blocked.
Is there something you didn't understand?
No, I just wanted to make sure that
Okay.
you did not have a meeting with him in the conference room to discuss the
All
motion.
right, next question,
No.
Ms. Merchant.
So in the conference room of my office within this week, you produced some financial document. That financial document was given to me, something, and I'm not even sure it was given it to him by me or Mr. Abadi gave it to me. And I think he showed me a document in our conference room. But as far as a substantive conversation, I don't believe I've had any conversation with him that is.
It'd just be in her best interest just to recuse herself.
I have
Like,
no
you
conversation
dragging
with
your
him,
daddy into this,
Since you filed the motion.
dragging everybody into
They
this. This
wouldn't
ain't a good look.
to this. He sent
They're all lawyers. Her,
very
Wade,
nice,
Bradley, and her father.
that have been done. And so we've had conversations about, did you listen to that sermon? you know, things of that nature. And I would say they were in relationship to this because I think he did it to be kind.
Let's start back in 2019.
Yeah.
So you and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct. And I think in one of your motions, you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive. I stayed at that conference. Mr. Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside talking to Lisa Reeves, who is a judge. Me and her were just having a conversation. Mr. Wade walks up. I think they hug each other. They have some brief conversation. She introduces us.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. We kind of thought that when you asked the question, you can answer the question, not a speech. So I object to the speech.
I agree.
I believe I'm able to explain my answers.
I believe she's able to explain her answers.
And that's
Ms. Merchant, that's okay. I can handle it. Ms. Willis, I'll ask you to just listen to the answer, or excuse me, the question.
Hey, Al Morris, turn your camera on so I can see who you are first. I'll let you on.
Opportunity on when the state was
Well,
able
it's
to
highly
follow
offensive
ups.
when someone.
Al Morris, turn your camera on so I can see who you are first. Al, I can't see you. It's just a white screen. Yeah, I don't know who you are, Al. Al can't see you. Philip, call in. Philip, call in. Hold on, Philip. Go ahead and call in because this was self-inflicted, Phil. We can't blame the people, the media. This was self-inflicted for Fani. We can't blame the folks. Again, we cannot blame the folks. She did this to herself. All right, go ahead, Philip. Go ahead.
What's up, Brother Dennis?
What's up, Philip?
So I agree with generally your look. The goal here was to smear Fani Willis, and she gave them, prior to actual testimony, all the material they needed to ruin her public reputation.
Right.
She did. And how she got in this position was she elected to be part of this attempt to keep Trump from running that the Democratic Party has been engaged in. And so it put her in the crosshairs of scrutiny. And when scrutinized, she had committed a lot of stuff that nobody would stand by. let me put it like that. So you've got this weird situation where her career ambitions just put her in the crosshairs of a stupid plan that she had nothing to do with, meaning she didn't need to get involved with this Trump thing, but I guarantee you when they approached her about it, she saw it as an opportunity to raise her public profile. You know, she's, as you said, second generation lawyer, right?
Right.
So she's not new to the law game. In my experience, most of those attorneys, if they're Black, are really solid because the parent has basically coached them how to be a lawyer since they were a kid.
Oh, hold on a second. Okay, Al, I see. You can turn your camera back off, Al. I see. You can turn your camera back off if you want to. All right, go ahead, Philip.
So here, she did a good to very good job of defending herself. The problem is nobody's going to really scrutinize that testimony. They're just not.
What do you mean?
Meaning this, a lot of the mistakes that the prosecutors made about the facts of what this thing and that thing, you will see it if you go back. You know, and I didn't listen to all of it. I got a snapshot of it and, you know, kept it moving. But basically, that they did not focus on the details of some of the things they were questioning her about. And so when she came forward with her version of events, there was a question there. Now, when there's a question, then that means it's not one way or the other. It needs to be scrutinized. But there was at least enough that there were questions. But what was the overarching thing? The overarching thing was that she had this relationship with the special prosecutor that she appointed, right? That was the first thing. And the money that was being spent in that whole thing. And then, if I'm not mistaken, there was some allegation that she was involved with the governor as well. Is that incorrect?
No. So the allegation, no.
She was not, because I saw something that said that she was involved with the governor as well. But regardless, the point.
So she interviewed the former governor of Georgia,
right,
to take the case, but he declined.
Yeah. Anyway, we could get in the minutia. I'm not going to go into that because it's not important. And from my view, she's a solid attorney who let her ambition in a Macbeth-like style get her into the crosshairs of something she shouldn't have been involved with. Right. And subsequently, she damaged her reputation, and worse, she damaged her father's reputation, having him testify and all of this.
Oh man, listen, the father brought up her ex-boyfriend named Deuce. It was just bad, man. I'm like, goodness, man. Why'd you? I mean, but Philip, when do you say, you know what? The evidence out here, the info out here is not looking good. Let me put
from the beginning.
Let me put my ego to the side and just say, you know what? I made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Let me step aside. Because I mean, I can't imagine them having my mom on that stand.
Well, let me say this. I said this was an ego ambition thing, a math kind of thing that destroyed her. But let me just say this, which is an interesting thing for at least this channel. As I understand it, father retired to South Africa. Is that correct?
In South Africa. And so I saw that and he didn't get his visa, meaning for him, you could get a retirement visa in South Africa if you could prove that you're bringing in a certain amount of income. So I guess he couldn't prove that. So he had to leave.
I guess so. My only point in raising that is, at least in theory, the Willis family was on the right program that this channel deals with. But they got tripped up at the finish line. She let her ambition get her involved with something she shouldn't have been, and the father, I guess, didn't prep for this move to South Africa in the way that he should have. He needed to contact the couple, the doctor, and the Blantons.
Right.
They needed to reach out to the Blantons, but. That was my take on it, was that she basically ruined herself. What do they call it? Self-immolated. But she did a decent job of defending when interrogated, because the attorneys that interrogated her were not as good as she was.
But do you think the way she handled herself were, a way to? Because and then also too, like her story and Nathan's story, then she started talking about he can't get his penis up. Like, I mean,
oh my God.
I'm sure it feels like she like Grey Goose and not wine, and
disaster.
Yeah, that's disaster. What I'm saying. Like, yeah,
it's disastrous. But look, this is the thing, is that particularly someone in her position where she's had some success. We're seeing this also with Kamala Harris. Where, attorneys sometimes, because generally they're intelligent people, they start to believe their own press clippings and lose some of their humility about, keeping up with things, right? And so then they wind up letting their ego get them into a position where they are talking about the things you just mentioned, Dinus. Nobody cares about, but how did she get there? it looks to me like she was solid. She came from a family of lawyers, and then she was like, I'm going to go for the Oscar now, Best Actor or Best Actress. This is going to be my step up to the big time. And what winds up happening is that she actually winds up self-immolating, and also burning up her dad's reputation.
Right.
For what?
But people who are supporting this, like, what would you say to that? Because there's a lot of people, yeah, she got him, girl. She got him. She showed them. Like what do you what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my feeling is that, and my feeling is that in general, Black American people are too tied up into politics and television, and that it doesn't matter, because even if Fani Willis has the comeback of the century, that's not going to do anything to help your family. Not at all.
Right.
And that being tied up in she did well or she didn't, it's this respectability politics / one Black person in public eye will grant some grace to Black people in general. And I don't believe that. I believe that if you're defending her, I think you're missing the big picture of the topics that she covered was a disgrace regardless to whether she's Black or not. That's not a good look for a lawyer, particularly not a Black lawyer. And then if you're attacking her, you're reading into this, we all are going to be judged by Black people respectability politics thing. And what happens there is, let's say Fani Willis is absolutely destroyed in the public square. Will the treatment of Black people improve because of that? Or get worse, in your view?
I honestly think, because they were, it shifted, Philip. If you notice, I'm gonna pass to Al Morris.
Sure.
Like post Joe Biden getting elected, I noticed this once, Black Lives Matter pretty much took the money and ran. DEI, affirmative action, Black women, like they've moved on, like the liberals or whoever was the people who were pushing all this, and now it's kind of like it's just burn it all to the ground. So I think Fani Willis, she's just, but you can't really blame the hidden hand or whatever, because I just think Fani did this to herself.
Well, I will say this: once they and I'm saying now the political parties, both pro and against Trump, once they decided that she was in the crosshairs because what came out about her, that she put herself in a position to be smeared just by her actions.
Right.
And the question is whether that is a reflection of Black America or not. And I would say to the casual observer, yes, because they don't know and they don't communicate with Black people anyway. So here's yet another Black woman in public office or public eye that has self-immolated. But I would say to the people that are, really kind of invested in this kind of stuff, Fani Willis is not a reflection of Black professionalism. It's just that she and her ego.
Dude, but I mean, you got to look at these so-called Black professionals who they're putting in power.
Well, right.
They're all kind of like Fani Willis is.
Her,
the mayor in Dothan, Illinois.
Yeah.
The mayor in whatchamacallit in New Orleans. Like they're like on this Fani Willis shit.
Well, absolutely. And Dias, I want to give the other. Oh, did he drop off?
Yeah, I think he left. Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
He's back.
Okay, that I want to give Al a chance to speak. That let me just say this, because I would argue that Fani Willis is no reflection of you or me or any other Black professional person. She's
True.
not. She's just another Black person that we share lineage with. But that being said, I will say this. If you've had any friends, which I'm sure you had at your age now, that have tried to run for office for either party, whether you're running as a Democrat or you're running as a Republican, the first question they ask you is not what your policy goals are. The first question they ask you is how much money you can raise.
All right.
And I'm sure if you've had this, I've had several of my friends run for office, some successfully, some not, that the policy stuff gets shaped by how much money, how successful, how high they can raise you in the process. So my point there is there's a reason why the people are all kind of looking the same, because it's that type of personality that can be run. Do you get me? Not that many people, not that many Black people have friends and networks that can raise $10,000 a clip at a fundraiser.
Right.
So you got to ask yourself the question, who is that person that they can run for office and raise money? In her case, she came from a respected Black lawyer family that had network and that obviously had a global outlook, in that the father was trying to go to South Africa to retire. This is not your average Black person. This is someone who's sophisticated. So that's why they look like that, Dynas. I hate being repetitive, but brother, it's about the money. Always has been, always will be. And the more that we focus on it, the better our situation will get. The less that we focus on it, the more we'll see this kind of nonsense and then be, proud or ashamed of who these people are. Because these are money people. If you go back through most of these Black politicians, you will see that they had some vehicle that they could raise money. They're not grassroots people. So I'll leave it there. I'll let Al do what he's got to do.
All right, let me read the super chat. Conundrum, thank you for the 93. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, shout out to the Qs. Y'all, shout out to the Qs for super chat. I was admitted to the bar in 1998. I've seen many disqualification hearings. This is by far the worst I've seen. Moreover, this hearing is the least of her worries. She's in a lot of trouble. Well, Philip, real quick, 1 minute. What do you think about that? And let's pass it to Al.
That's true. I thought I said that in a different way. I didn't want to go into with a path. She is headed down a path of glass.
What else can happen? Do you think?
Well, they could take her license.
You think so? Is it to that point, Phil?
It might. I mean, it might. It depends on what all is going to come out. It might. I mean, look at it this way. Attorneys kind of sit in this place in between the public and the government, where you are given a position of trust of handling the public money. And so if you were looking at this as a group of attorneys, seasoned attorneys, would you say that Fani Willis is someone that should receive the public trust and money?
No, Al Morris, go ahead, Al.
Yeah, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. I wanted to make a few comments. I mean, to be honest, like I said, I watched. I didn't watch the father's testimony. I just watched the father when he talked about having the cash. I did watch Miss Willis and Mr. Wade and Mr. Bradley's testimony. I mean, I just really thought that Miss Willis was that was just terrible. It was a cringe. I mean, to be from a upper class, respectable family, and then just to get up there and to portray yourself to the world like that was just it just was embarrassing and unacceptable. I mean, I don't like wine. I like Grey Goose. A man isn't a plan. A man is a companion. I mean, it was just all that stuff. And it's like, it's like, is this person really saying this and really believing that she sounds reasonable? Like, I mean, you sound crazy. And then the thing about it is, okay, even if you was having a relationship like that, because when I didn't know, how everything that came about, I did look into it. It's like, even if you was doing something like that, why would you put that man on a case like that where Trump ain't no shrimp. That man, he comes from a very, cutthroat world in the business world. So they have a bulldog type of team, a real hardcore team behind them. If you know it, like that's like me. If I have some skeletons in my closet, right, and then I come and I try to put my face out there before the world or put my face in the public scene, and I'm out there judging people for having a certain position, you best believe that the skeletons in my closet is gonna come out. It's just what it is. Like, I don't know why you would think that wouldn't come out. I just don't understand. Why would you pick that man, if anything, to prosecute that case against Trump? It just was a bad move overall. And like, for her to get up there, I mean, that dress looked horrible. She looked crazy. She was answering the questions crazy. I mean, it just everything about that was just terrible. It was just absolutely terrible for her to do that. Like, I mean, now I can understand getting up on the stand and being like how the one gentleman handled it, where he kept being like, I don't recall. Or I don't recall. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Now I can see doing that, trying to drag out questions, and that's what they do in that courtroom type of situation. But to get up there and just say, "Oh, I won't emasculate a black man," and oh, we went her mother, it just was it just was like terrible. Like, it just was embarrassing. You look like one of the girls up there at what's the club? Club Paradise. What's the little club right there? Strokers. So she just looked like yeah, that looked terrible, man. That looked very bad on her behalf to to get up there and act like you just a regular Keisha at Lenox Mall. I mean, you just like I said, that's this. Like I said, it's not gonna end well. I see that they both, because at least with Wade, he was on board, but at least he got up there and he was smug at best. But everything he was saying was still, coherent, and he was explaining stuff correctly. The one dude just said, I can't recall, but to get up there with her and all that stuff she was saying, and it just was crazy. It was real crazy, you know what I mean? And then, like, now, because I did think, okay, when she said the thing about the checks, I did think with the one lady that was questioning that she.
Oh, we lost him. Q Nudge, go ahead.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you doing?
I'm better than I deserve. I just wanted to chime in. I hope you don't have a huge echo. I'm sitting.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to add something to this. There's a lot of things that people. There's one thing that people are woefully overlooking. The burden of proof and what they're trying to prove is not something that's tangible that someone has to have the evidence in hand. If you get a chance, you Google the Georgia Rules of Professional Conduct. That is what she's dealing with, all right? As an attorney or as a judge, you share the same platform, which is you must avoid the appearance of impropriety. And in this case, if it appears improper, then they have to disqualify her. Doesn't necessarily have to be something that's tangible in hand. If it appears, just if it appears improper, they have to disqualify her.
Q. Oh, well. Q. Isn't that essentially what I was expressing? I mean,
I just chimed in. I actually just chimed in. And I heard bits and pieces, but I didn't hear what you said.
No, Dinus asked, do you think she could be disqualified based on, you know, what has happened so far.
Yes.
And my answer was maybe because attorneys sit in between the public and the government and the judiciary. And so just as you said, and you were much more succinct to bring the standard of proof and what the ethics rules were. But basically, we both agree, like, yeah, this could result in her losing her license.
Oh no, well, per my understanding, I have a good friend of mine that works in the Georgia legislature. Per my understanding, they've already started some articles of impeachment to have her removed as district attorney. Headed by Marjorie Taylor Greene. You have to understand that Georgia is a Republican state. Atlanta is a Democratic stronghold. So, you know, they're handing this to the people who she necessarily don't agree with politically. So, but yeah, they've already instituted those. But needless to say, if they were to not disqualify her, okay, if you were Donald Trump's attorney, you would have the best platform for appeal because it has been tainted.
I agree with that 100%. That's right.
And that's the law. You know, there's a case that's going on right now in Tangible Hole Parish in Louisiana, where there's a gentleman who's a doctor, and he oversees the medical examination of sexual abuse victims. All right, he's a doctor. He's been a doctor for 27 years. However, they just found out that he was arrested for a sex offense. Okay. 17 years ago. Now he wasn't convicted of it, but when you look at it from the legal perspective, will he be favorable to someone who's being accused of something and not give the proper assessment on a sexual misconduct case because he's been in that seat before? Does that make any sense?
Philip, you there?
Yeah,
that's right. I agree with this 100%. The examples you're giving and the standards for you know, this situation. I think she's in a lot of trouble. I think my commentary was more directed towards Black people in general getting out of this. We're cheering for or against a Fani Willis type person because it's all the same type of person that winds up in this position. I don't know how you feel about that conundrum. You've been a member of the bar a little bit longer than me. And in my friends that have run for office, both successfully and unsuccessfully, what I said to Dynas was the number one question was not their policy positions, it was how much money they could raise.
I concur. Yeah. But what baffles me, and there's two things that baffle me with this entire case. Number one is how much of a public outcry was going on that forced her hand to prosecute Donald Trump. Okay, that's the first thing. In my assessment of that, I think she just wanted to make a national name for herself.
Right.
With her testimony there at the hearing, I saw scores of people saying that she could have pleaded the Fifth Amendment. Well, she wasn't invited. No one forced her to be there. She wasn't an expected witness. Then she proceeds to get on the stand and give the IRS everything they need to audit her.
Jonathan Miller says she's not in trouble.
Well, I think that people are conflating the politics.
No, we lost Philip. We lost Philip. Yeah, conundrum. Where'd you pledge at?
Coppin State University.
Okay, you said Coppin?
Coppin, yes.
Okay, cool. Go ahead, Philip. Yeah, I lost you, Philip. Go ahead.
So,
yeah, I'm sorry, I got kicked out. Go ahead, Conundrum. Go ahead.
Someone said that she's not in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think he really understands how this works.
I don't think he does. Yeah, I don't think he does.
Well,
Yeah,
that's where I was going. That there is a separation between what are the ethical standards that an attorney has to maintain in order to be a member of the bar and to be in a public office, for a legal position, and running for office. And they are overlapping, but they're not the same, right?
Correct.
And so she may be a popular figure, but it will not help her to keep her license.
No, not by a long shot.
And that's the bottom line, is she got into the position because she had a license.
Well, I'll say this as well. I also saw where people were mentioning how the judge was allowing her to say whatever she wanted to say. You have to understand that this judge is giving her just the rope she needs to hang herself.
You think that's the case?
Oh, I know.
Sure. That was the main goal, was to allow her to talk and to show herself, so that when they got her in these ethics hearings, she will have had enough testimony for them to really cast doubt on her ability to keep her license.
And you see, and then there'll be no argument about what the judge did not allow her to say. Right? So this woman was talking about things that were so woefully irrelevant to the questions that were being asked. And the fun fact is, she gave some of the things she gave the opposition didn't have. They didn't know anything about her keeping, $5,000, $6,000, and $10,000 in her home.
Disastrous. There was a guy in Louisiana, the House of Rep guy, where remember he had like $20,000 or $30,000 in his freezer.
William Jefferson, correct.
And that's exactly right. That she admitted to a whole bunch of things that were just a terrible look and will not color well for her ethics hearings.
Well, William Jefferson did my induction into the Lewis Martinet Legal Society, and it was a cloud over his head then. But needless to say, this woman, now people don't understand that when you're a public official, your taxes, LaToya Cantrell went through the same thing. Your taxes and how you pay your taxes become a matter of importance to the public. Now, if she filed her taxes properly in 19, 20, 21, and 22, and 23, and she didn't claim any of this stuff that she's mentioning, that she held onto this cash, and she kept this and kept that, and she paid this person. If that hasn't been mentioned on her taxes, that's a whole nother animal.
It's a disaster waiting to happen if she didn't do that. And she did not, as you say, have to offer up that information. No, she did that to try to paint a picture to defend herself in the public opinion. But in so doing, she gave herself a ton of rope to be tied up in those ethics hearings. It's real bad. I think to me, the issue of her disgracing her family and just through something that it seems to be just arrogance of wanting to get on the national profile with this Trump thing. I agree with you, Conundrum, that was really what drove this, was that she wanted to be a national figure.
Now, I'm all but certain that the gentleman that filed the motion for disqualification, I am 100% certain, without a doubt, you probably can agree with me as a counselor, that they approached her with that. They approached her with the idea of the disqualification before it was even filed. Now, she had the opportunity. The most noble thing in a chess game is to kick over your queen when you know it's, or your king when you know it's over. And she had the opportunity to avoid all of this, but our arrogance wouldn't let her.
Well, listen, once you get into that position, she believed that she could do. I mean, when I was doing prosecuting, I would always come forward with what I had to see if they would step down.
Correct.
Always. Because I would present them, I'm going to show this, 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 and this, and you won't go to work in the state again.
But my question is, Philip, don't they have to show the kickback? I don't see where they're able to show the kickback.
If it was before Phil answers, if it was just the kickback, if that was all it was, then yes, she may have a little window to peek through. But there's a cloud that's over her head right now. That the kickback itself doesn't matter. As I said before, she's creating the appearance of impropriety.
But the cloud does not get her removed. Only the kickback gets her removed.
Like hell.
No, it doesn't. You don't have to prove definitively that you received the kickback. You have to prove. He gave the standard of proof. The appearance of impropriety. That's the standard. Not that they can definitively show that she actually took the kickback. Just the appearance of impropriety is enough.
And see, and the misconception is she's not fighting against the revised statutes of the Georgia Code of Criminal Procedure. That's not what she's dealing with. She's dealing with the Georgia Rules of Professional Conduct. That's what she's dealing with. When you get a chance, look it up and read those inserts, and you have a complete understanding as to what she's facing.
I will look up that part. I just because I've spoken to a couple of lawyers all day, and you guys are the first ones in disagreement. But my thing is, this to me, this is like Clorox trying to say that Tide did something incorrect within their system. And
I mean, listen.
and for me, where they lost it was the inability to make to have a receipt. Like, as long as she kept saying cash, there's nothing they can, and especially when she said that the cash was mixed with prior money that she may have made before she even got the job. I just find it hard for them to make the connection. But if you guys are saying it's just the appearance, and the appearance alone can get you removed.
Also, what you just said, if you commingled funds, that's not good either, brother. It's she's got an uphill battle to keep her license, I would say. I agree with Conundrum.
So let me ask you a question to the young man who said that gave the Tide and the Clorox analogy. That's on point. Let me ask you a question. If you're a criminal defendant, and you're fighting for your life, and you have one person that's testifying against you, and that one person is the one voice between you going to jail for the rest of your life and not going to jail. And you hear some story about when the judge was on his way to the courtroom, that same person who is testifying against you, the judge saw that person had a flat, gave that person a ride to the courthouse. Would you not be concerned?
Very much.
Okay. That's the appearance of impropriety. Even if the judge get on there and said, hey, no, that person got a flat and I was just being a good Samaritan and I gave the person a ride there. How would you feel once you get found guilty?
Yeah, I totally understand. But I want to take you back to Terrence Bradley. So yes. So yes is the answer to what you just said. But I want to take you back to Terrence Bradley, because Terrence Bradley initiated this whole nonsense out of his jealousy for Nathan, whatever his name is. Now, at the end of this, I look at it like Terrence is going to lose everything, because there's no way he comes out of this without the bar stripping him, or worst case scenario, he never gets to practice law anywhere ever again. But I just don't see the Fani connection. They went according to testimony, overstated testimony, but because of testimony, they went on these trips because of their quote unquote relationship, and they never could prove the 2019 timeline that homegirl suggests that her friend did. But if they have this relationship, and every time he pays for something, just like we go on a guy's trip, and I say, you know what, go ahead, man. How much that cost? Okay, here go 1,500. And if I don't have it on Cash App, if I ain't wrote no check, if I ain't got no way to connect a receipt, you just got to take my word. That's how I paid him back. And if you put me on the stand and just ask me, and I keep saying no, our entire relationship, anytime we hung out or took a trip, whatever the bill was, just like with the condo, I just cashed that out. I don't see how you make a connection on mingling funds. I mean, on kickbacks, but I'm gonna look that up that you suggest, because if it's just appearance alone, I guess anybody can be removed then.
You're absolutely right, without question.
Because I find it funny, this move is only happening because Trump's lawyers can't defeat her. Wait,
come again. This move happened. What?
Trying to remove her for me signals that the Trump lawyers cannot defeat what she's doing in court.
They haven't went to court yet.
That's objective. But I'm trying to figure out the timeline on Trump getting this information, because I don't know if you remember, there was a rally right after he got arrested, and he mentioned this. You know that?
Nah.
Trump already knows everything. He already knows what's coming. Yeah, he called out a lot of stuff. Like, he called out her allegedly having the relationship with some of YSL or the other little gang. Like, Trump be knowing. Like, Trump be knowing. So,
but I mean, the only thing I really wanted to add, and I wanted to give her a better understanding of, and I didn't realize that there was a member of the bar on here, and I apologize. I just wanted to add to it that, that it's not the same burden of proof as you're dealing with a criminal case. You're actually dealing with ethics here. And as it relates to, the bar, it's a very big deal, an extremely big deal, because if you're moving forward with the prosecution, you want to make sure that it's not tainted in any way. So even if you can't prove a kickback, there's still this cloud of misappropriation by these two counselors. And me myself, if I was, the defendant, I would want to have her removed as well.
Mr. Research. So, how do you think this is going to end up, Mr. Research? What are your thoughts?
I'm going to read what the brother said, but as of right now, if kickback is the only standard, I don't see a removal happening. I spoke to about 2-3 lawyers today; they don't see it. But one Supreme Court type of guy, he said that it's like 5 to what do you say? 3 out of 5. So he's saying that, she could be removed because the appearance. So if it's about the appearance, then, I kind of see what it is. I just find it odd that the way the law works comes down to that classic word, it can be argued. It can be argued as the most dangerous thing in all of law. It just leads to speculation in my point of view. So right now, I just don't see it, but hey, it can be argued that it demeans the office. It can be argued that it brings a type of opinion that the office doesn't want. So I just find it very weird. We'll see. I just think it'll be precedented, whatever the case may be.
Well, I mean, it taints the process, man. And that's what, in a nutshell, that is the matter. You know, it taints the process. And as I said before, if they allow her to not be disqualified and stay on this case as a defense attorney, man, that's a home run you've just given me. You know, in appeal.
Yeah, very strange. Just very quickly, somebody in the chat room said what happened. Just a very quick thing. There's a case against Trump, and one of the judges is trying to remove one of the judges. I mean, one of the lawyers, prosecutors, the main prosecutor from prosecuting the case. So they tried this move to discredit. And it's all about pulling her from the case. And even when they pull her from the case, one of the lawyers was saying a very good point. It's going to take a very long time for somebody else, the new person, to come up to speed. And by that time, Trump might be president. And it's going to take a very long time to push the calendar up if they successfully get her removed too.
I mean, his conviction doesn't stop him from being president. There are only two requirements to be president of the United States. One is that you be a citizen of the United States, and the other that you be 35 years of age. That's it.
No, I don't think it's about stopping him. I just think that once that happens, you know, he walks in even way more powerful than before. I mean, I don't think this case does anything other than to decide whether or not he had a hand in those Georgia votes. I just think that's the extent of it.
In my opinion, without this Georgia case, Trump was in a lot of trouble. That's just me. If this Georgia case would not have been instituted, Trump was in a lot of trouble.
What do you mean a lot of trouble if it wasn't instituted?
I think that if, you know, this case of this particular indictment is what really made him more popular than he was before. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the mugshot T-shirts came from this. Yep. The name of the sneakers that he just put out, Never Surrender, came from this.
Yep.
But if he had to fight those other ones alone, I'm of the impression that, you know, without this case, he, you know, I don't think he would have nearly as much of the success he's having right now.
Mr. Research. Oh, he already dropped off. Guys, we'll take a couple more callers, then we'll log out. Link is in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, please click on the link. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, please click on the link. Kunaj, how do you, since it's kind of off topic, but we're talking about Trump and his cases. The case in front of the Supreme Court in regards to him being on the ballot in Colorado, how do you think that's going to play out?
That would be a very serious constitutional issue, because basically what the states are basically saying is, we're going to decide who you get to vote for. And I don't want the state to cast up. I don't want the state to choose who to determine who I get to vote for.
Right.
So I think that it's a slow moving object. If that's the case, I think it'll eventually be ruled in his favor. Okay. But it's a slippery slope, man. It really is. Really is. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just running on. What you say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm all.
Yeah, this, and he has another case. I haven't followed all of his indictments.
Well, he has I guess, you know, he lost the another civil trial the other day, as far as in New York with this. He can't operate a business for 3 years in New York. He has to pay it's like $350 million of fines, which is crazy. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they are appealing that, correct?
Of course.
Yeah, that's going to be tied up in appeals for quite some time. Yeah, they're not helping this guy lose. They're really helping this guy win.
Right.
They really are. And, you know, I'm not a Trump fan. I don't vote people. I vote policies. I'm not a huge fan of Trump at all. But I was on board with the money that was allocated for the HBCUs. I was really interested in that.
Right.
And that's my biggest concern has always been financial. Our educational institutions for Black people. So it doesn't matter who's on. But yeah, man, I hate that the country gets to see a Black woman behave this way. That's the part that I hate.
But you know, there are a lot of Black women who are cheering this on.
I know. Trust me, bro. I've seen it.
Get them, girl. Get them.
Willful ignorance is what I call it. And they think that just because she can get in a position, and you have some women that, and I don't want this to seem like it's sexist, but you have some women that will stand 4'10" and think that cursing out another woman who's 6'8" makes sense.
Right.
And they think just because it sounds something smart to say that you good. No, don't work that way. And this woman made a complete ass of herself on a public platform.
But you know what's interesting was Trump really like running those businesses technically. Like I'm sure none of those businesses were really in his name, or I don't know. Like,
wait, come again? What was your question?
In New York, so he can't operate a business in New York for 3 years.
The question of the day is, well, I mean,
yeah, but my thing is, was he really operating those businesses? Because usually, you know how they got it set up, having holding companies and all that. So,
right. And you know, he got sued for Trump University, but Trump University wasn't his. It just had his name. That was a whole nother separate entity running Trump University. The one that flopped. Even the airline, same thing. They just attached his name to it. I'm curious as to what that order looks like relative to the businesses that he currently owns in New York. Will they seize those businesses in lieu of the money once the appeal is over, or will they stop those businesses from operating? Can he sell those businesses to someone else? I'm curious as to what the order looks like.
Philip, you're back. You got to mute. There you go.
Yeah, I my other computer's acting up. Sorry. So
what happened, Philip?
I don't know. I had to reset my router and the laptop. I don't know, man. It's acting weird right now. So I came back in with the other laptop. In any case, I missed some of what Mr. Research was presenting. Where were you on this?
We were discussing the judgment in New York, and I was inquiring about the order on the businesses that Trump have in New York, whether or not he has to shut those businesses down in totality. Will he be able to sell them? What was your what did you hear about those businesses relative to the judgment, the $300 million plus judgment?
Yeah, I was still waiting to get more details on it. One of the weird things that went on with Trump when he was in before was he did not put in trust or move to a non-controlling position with a lot of the assets that he had while he was in office. And I kind of view this New York
Only
judgment.
the operation. Oh, he signed over only operation. You're absolutely right, sir.
Yeah, and so there's this weird situation that I think they're trying to address to try to force him not to have active control of assets should he win. And the weird thing was when he was in before, both at the Mar-a-Lago property in Palm Beach, and also there's a property he has, I want to say in DC somewhere, that a lot of the other foreign officials were intentionally booking high-end reservations at these places when they had White House meetings, almost as if it's a backdoor way to give him.
I've seen that.
And so I suspect that this New York thing is in part to try to move those assets into a place where he can't run the kind of operation that he did when he was in office before. But I would say it's a larger issue of, okay, so let's say you're successful and you're able to do that. It doesn't change this other thing that exists, at least with the Congress, of your stock holdings and other things, and you're making decisions about governmental policy that affects stocks. And so, you know, let's say that they succeed with this New York thing. Does that change the approach that he had to doing politics? Or better stated, not just him, all of the politicians, because they have this asset, you know, like let's take something we were talking about the judiciary and appearances of impropriety. Antonin Scalia died at a quote unquote friend's home that also happened to be a longtime supporter of his.
You're right.
Am I right?
You're right.
So
right.
when that guy's legal interests appeared in the court system, are you saying that, or are we to believe that Antonin Scalia had no influence on his legal outcomes?
Hey man, everything you're saying, you literally put the nail in it. I mean, I agree. I agree 100%.
Could I come in here? I just want to make a quick comment.
Go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you, Dennis, and hello to you, Philip, and I think it's Q. I can't really see your name, but I just want to say with the whole Trump situation, I think, for example, like Philip was saying, with Trump Tower, for example, it's a condominium. He doesn't own it. You know, I have family members who own condos. You know, it's like you pay for it and you own it, and then you have a company that manages the condo. You know, to do the maintenance. You know, those repairs here and there and stuff like that. So that's what he owns. But the Trump Tower, he doesn't own it. Some of his other businesses, he has some collaboration with some Malaysian or Indonesian companies and some Chinese investors. So really, he really doesn't own anything as a sole proprietor. Even his golf courses, they're usually a business venture for other, international people from maybe like Hong Kong and China and Saudi Arabia and things like that. But I think the situation with his fine, I think it was right, bro. Trump had been doing that for many years. I came on the platform the other day and I made that point that he has been defrauding the government. He has been being, practicing some discriminatory, practices against people of color, especially black folks. So I think he got what he deserved. I mean, we're not going to cry about it. If you want to be a Trump supporter, maybe you can go and buy some of those $399, golden shoes to give him some money to pay up his, his legal bills.
Sold out already. They're sold out.
You talking about the January?
Yeah, the Air Fraud ones or whatever they call them, But I'm sure Dinus likes sneakers. He bought some Dapper Dons, Gucci sneakers. He can probably cop a pair of those. He could give us the review and let us know if it's on par with the Gucci's or the Adidas that he got. But I mean, on the whole Fannie Willis, Fannie situation, I mean, it's an embarrassment. I think she flew too close to the sun, knowing that she has some skeletons in the closet. You know, when you're doing it to these rappers and wannabe gangsters who really have no backing and they're not, politically connected, you look like the big bad dog coming in. But if you're doing it with people like Donald Trump who have some political clout and people who are so loyal to them will dig up anything they can find on you, you got to be careful. And I think for all intended purposes, she has messed up this case. And even if he's found guilty, there will be some doubt as to why he was found guilty when she was, and that's what she said. She's not the one on trial. Lawyers are, allowed to have, quote unquote extramarital affair. As far as I'm concerned, it's not against the law. But then putting this guy on the case, even though she had tried other prosecutor who denied, or who refused to join the case with her, and this guy finally accepted it. You don't do that. As a lawyer, you should know one-on-one. You don't work along with somebody who you have a personal relationship with. I'm sure Phil and other guy would say that on the platform. So as somebody who supports the Democrat, I think she was out of pocket, and I think in lieu of everything, she should probably recuse herself from the case. But then again, that's going to even slow the case down. That's what Trump wants. Doesn't really care if what she did was wrong or right. He just wants to slow down that case. And if she recuses herself, they got to find a new prosecutor, maybe even an independent prosecutor, and this and that. It's going to take a longer time. And that will be right in his wheelhouse. That's what he really wants. And I think she'd mess up this case by, somebody said thinking what you did, but I think she was thinking with something else. And she messed everything up for the prosecution in Georgia. I wanted to make those points out. I'm following you guys. I don't have enough time to stay on. I just want to make those short points and get off.
Okay. High value Tyrone, go ahead.
Man, you know what? First things first, man, salute to your platform, man. I like what you're doing, far as, giving people good information, touching different subjects. You get what I'm saying? You're showing people where they can go to see a different part of different continents, different countries in Africa, man. You know what I'm saying? So definitely salute to your platform and salute to the people in the panel, people in the chat. But you know what? When it boils down to it, you can tell when people talk, if they have when they lean to one side or the next. You know what I'm saying? When you got the lawyers up here talking, you can tell that they're straight in the middle. They're not sitting up here saying what somebody should get and they think they should get this or whatever, because they're just calling it by the facts. You get what I'm saying? But see, when you have simps that's up here with talking about what somebody should get, it would be the same way if you was on the stand. And if you had something thrown up at you and you had some publicized, you would not want somebody to be sitting out here calling you all type of name, bringing up some shit that you did when you was 12 years old or 30, 40 years ago and use that against you as you are today. We say this all the time. You know what I'm saying? That where I was and where I am is two totally different people. You get what I'm saying? So, but when we choose to lean towards certain sides, especially politically, it shows this ugly head every time. That's how you can see that. That's why you can always tell the difference who somebody votes with and where they lean with by the way they talk. Because everybody that jump on this platform that doesn't like Donald Trump always talking about some shit where he discriminated against somebody. Let me tell you something, Donnie. I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. I go more as far as the stocks. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go toward, if Biden in office, I know he leaned towards clean energy and all that electric shit. So that's where I'm gonna move my investment. If Donald Trump in office, I know how to all you have to do is look at that if you're based on. But when you're emotionally connected to politics, you start talking about what people deserve. And the thing about it is, if you go back into the history of when those discrimination happened, it had nothing to do with Donald Trump. Nothing to do with Donald Trump whatsoever. It was a firm, just like the other guy was saying, that if people was hiring them and they did it. The only thing is it had Donald Trump name on it. So it'd be the same way, Diners, if you had 50 tours in 50 continents. And then somebody say, well, you know what I'm saying, Diners discriminated against these people right here, and you don't have nothing to do with it at all. You wasn't even there, don't know nothing about it, but it has your name on it. So it'll be somebody that jump on here that doesn't like you, that sit up there and act like you was sitting behind the desk. You was the one looking at the pictures. You was asking about the color of the people. You did this. You get what I'm saying? So let me push the point. Let me push the point even further. Just like that reporter just died in the Russian prison camp. All over Democrat news, they was like, well, Donald Trump ain't came out and said that. Diners, who the fuck tells you who you should come out and talk about because they talking about it? That's just like if me, Philip, and Conundrum is talking about something, and then we say, well, yeah, we was on Diners platform yesterday. He ain't say a word about it. It ain't on Diners to say nothing unless he wants to say something. So it ain't on Donald Trump. It doesn't matter who else says something. That's just like saying that if they sit up there talking about cow shit, you should talk about cow shit because they talking about cow shit, which is the dumbest shit in the world, but it doesn't change the fact. So, and then let me give you another example. Just like we was on the platform the other week, and then when you asked the guy, put in the chat, ask the guy what the racist thing he said or did. The dude was like, oh, yeah, he said something about shithole countries. And I'm like, hold on. I say countries and shithole countries. You get what I'm saying? So does that make me a racist? No. But some type of way, it just shocks me how black people, so-called black people, that think that the system is against them in every type of way, that we got to be 10 times better, 12 times smart, think that somebody else, because they don't agree or they speak their mind, especially when they wasn't even in office, running for office, has some type of weight over their situation and what they doing now. Diners, if you to judge me on how I was when I was on Cleveland Avenue, Metropolitan, Bankhead, and Boy Homes, you would never hire me to push your containers overseas. Bring your containers to a shipping yard. Bring them to the shipping yard. You wouldn't even conduct business with me if you was basing something off of what I did 20, 30 years ago. But see, this is how it works when you have a platform of aggressive black feminist females and super ultra mega simps that's right there with them, that don't even understand that they look even worse because you sit up there knocking down your own patriarchy, trying to push up women in your own community, and no other community is like this. No other community in the history of community push women up above the men, or men pushing women up. But this is the thing though. See, a lot of people think the hustle smart don't like women. I say it all the time. Black women have no reason to listen to black men, because instead of black men putting a woman in her place, he too busy telling her how she wrong, how she was right about everything, on how hard her life is. So, you should give her a pass. She should always give a pass, and you're a man, you should just deal with it because your mama, because you got a black mama. We're the only group of people that act like that. That's why we're not going nowhere. I don't say that we're doomed because, I'm just black and I just have something negative to say. I put the black race on paper. We're talking about finance. We're talking about education. We're just talking about morale, Diners. Just morale. Don't even add the prison system in there. Don't even add the homosexuality in the situation. Don't even add the upper echelon of entrepreneurship in the situation. If you bring the black race on a piece of paper, on a financial lines, a graph, you would not invest your money on the black community. But the way that it works is that as the ship is going down, you sit up there and make all the money you can. So therefore, the Democratic Party is saying that, you know what, let's get 4 more years out of these black people. By the time these 4 years happen, we're going to get these Latinos, we're going to get them in school, we're going to teach them how to speak English. Dennis, Philip, Conundrum, the only reason why Latinos ain't came out the woodworks and all of them started swinging is because all of them don't know how to speak English. That's the only thing that's holding them back. But they still got 2 things over black people. They stick together, and Latinos, Spanish, whatever you want to call them, they never get tired of eating tacos or burritos. So that means that they invest in each other, they practice group economics, they hire each other, and then they hold each other accountable. Right now, we go to the shipping yard. When they bring the Latinos in there, they have a pecking order when they walk in there. Mr. Phillip, they ain't in there talking about, man, ain't nobody can judge me but God, and you don't know my life, and I'm from this part. You can tell that these Latinos don't know each other, and they're a different part of the spectrums of countries. But when they hit that job, when it comes to finances and working together, it's nobody that would, even if I had to put my money with it, I would hire them before I hire some black person. And that is sad that I would do that, but I would have to do that as far as a business minded. So you go back into this case right here, where you have a black woman that has the perfect opportunity as a district attorney of a major capital city. She could have used all her education and knowledge and experience to sit up there and be cutthroat and elegant at the same time. She'd rather be Pukanisha, Trishan, McElroy, sit up there talking about she goddamn taking shots of Grey Goose getting loose in Aruba, busting it wide open for his 50th birthday. That's what she got up there and started talking about. And then when you get the black people that's talking about it, that's how you know black people are based off of feelings. That's why the Democrat Party got them where they want to. Every 4 years, they send Van Jones crying ass, sitting up here on the news talking about what you need to be scared of. That's one thing that I've been paying attention in the last 2 years. I hear the Democrat senators, the Democrat House representative, I hear the Democrat media and news channel, they always talk about what you should be scared of. They always talk about what you should be in fear of. I sit up there and listen to The View, them cackling hands up and down. All they start talking about is who you should be scared of. It shocks me that the United States has the most potent, powerful military in the world, the best police system in the world, no matter its faults. And you still got black people in their house where they can go buy AR-15, 357, 3 knives, 2 bulletproof vests, you know what I'm saying, a bow and arrow, and Teflon bodywork, and can get an underground safe house. They still sitting up there talking about they scared in 2023, 2024. That's what we still talking about, because we have one political party teach you how to be scared and dependent. And then you got one political party say, hey man, get off your ass, work for something. And if you work for something, we'll give you something. That's why the $500 billion plan that Trump was offering didn't register to black people then, because that money was going to entrepreneurs. Most black people are professional entrepreneurs, Philip. Most black people will work at a job 30 years talking about how many microwaves they got in the break room, Mr. Conundrum. Yeah, we ain't talking about no bullshit weed business, no goddamn barbershop and no barbecue selling out there on the corner store. We talking about real business that you can pass down generational wealth. We ain't operating those businesses or even opening those businesses as a whole. So therefore, that 500 billion meant nothing to us unless you were putting money in your pocket. So if you go to Shade Room, you go to any of these websites, the only thing when they talk about Trump, only thing they remember is them $1,500 stimulus checks, because those went straight into black people pockets, and they went out to Lenox Mall where people don't like them. They went in Gucci where the people don't like them. They went in the MCM store where people don't like them. They went to Phipps Plaza where people don't like them and spent that money because that's more tangible. That's more tangible to black people. Sitting up there talking about open a business doesn't correlate to most black people.
That's not even
Because they
true.
sitting up there saying that they're gonna work a job for 30 years. You get what I'm saying? So say that again. Say that again.
Most black people spend that money on paying bills. They didn't spend it on luxury goods. So that's not a fact.
But see, this is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is when the $500 billion, the bill that Trump was promises didn't have, the only conservative minded black people thought that was a good deal. But you had to open up a business. You had to open up a business in certain areas. Certain areas was designed that if you open up a business, either your rent for the year was gonna be subsidized. You get what I'm saying? You was gonna get help open up a bit. It just wasn't gonna be free money, so you can go out there in the air, jump up in the air, do a split, and catch $100 bill in your asshole. And chicks twerking all over the place, yelling period down there in Miami, getting 67 tattoos and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what not the money was gonna go, but that's what the Democrat offer. I have people in my family that will tell you the only reason why they still vote Democrat is because they get free food stamps and free benefits. My cousin pays $23 a month for child care for 3 kids. That's what it is, because it's easy to do nothing. You get what I'm saying? Just sit in the house and be scared. But if you're out here conducting business, if you're out here trying to open up business, you're not going to be scared of anything because you already got your financials on the line. But if you're working, hold on, this is the last point. I know I'm long-winded. This is the last point. But when you just working a job and all you got to do is put $30, $40 in your gas tank and work until Friday to get paid, you get what I'm saying? You don't have that type of whatever. So therefore, you're the type of person that will sit home and watch the news and let Van Jones cry every 2 years and tell you how scared you can be. But I'll pass the mic.
I like to see that. I like to see that brother debate.
Yeah, my question is, you think all the white women who are enjoying welfare, who also have babies and get benefits from the government, who vote Republicans, you think they vote Republicans because they're getting welfare?
No, that is the difference. Do you get what I'm saying? That is the difference. Ain't now one of them gonna say, I vote that way, but you will hear black people saying it. You just made my point, Elvis. What I'm telling you, black people will actually say that.
The point I was trying to make is that people benefit from the government regardless of what political party they associate with. So it's not because they're Democrat, that's why they receive welfare.
See, that's the part. See, that's the part you listening. You listening, but this is what you call listening to, waiting to respond and not comprehending. I just told you that I know people personally that said this. This is the reason why they vote for Democrat. And then the next thing come out your mouth is to tell me that this ain't what they said. I'm telling you what they said. You get what I'm saying? So these are things that I know for a fact. I got plenty of family members. I was raised in Bankhead Court. We meet up at this bullshit apartments every week. These people from the same Bankhead been closed for 8-9 years, about 10 years now. And these people still go over there to this park across the street and sit up there and still talk about how good it was when we was in a war zone. And don't get me wrong, Elvis. I was part of the problem. I'll tell people any day. I was sitting up here watching black people die. I was sitting up there turning neighborhoods against each other. I was sitting up there apartment company. If I felt like somebody was getting in on my work or my money was getting short, I would turn different sections of buildings in the projects against each other. You know what I'm saying? I would sell these dudes drugs and then sell these dudes guns. And I would tell them dudes that I sold guns, man, I sold all them the dope. They got it all. And this is going to be a while before I re-up again. That right there, because it's already envious between black people already. Why you think,
If
Elvis, when we walk up to hold
somebody
on
in the
for a second,
comment
this is the last
section,
point. This is the last point, bro. Why do you think when black people look at each other, the first thing we do is look at each other from the ground up? Why do you think we do that?
I just want to tell you that you just validated somebody comment in the comment section. The person said you sound like a CIA agent, and what you just said was exactly what CIA agents do. They'll turn neighborhoods
Huh?
against each other. They'll sell guns to one neighbor and sell drugs to the other neighborhood. And you just said that, so that I just found it to be so
Yeah,
amazing that you
that's
said.
exactly what I did.
Yeah. So you was
Yeah,
an
but
agent
see,
against black people. You're working against your own people.
let me tell you something, dog. Let me tell you something. I didn't care. I didn't care if I killed, steal, and destroy. I know for a fact, Elvis, that I'm responsible for at least 15 to 20 deaths in the black community. I'm telling you that straight up. But this is the thing, though, Elvis. That's where I was at. You get what I'm saying? So the thing about it is that when the transformation happened in my brain, where I used that same type of conniving ways with see, the thing about it is, Elvis, when I was in the projects, I saw off the rip that I was smarter than majority of the people over here. I saw everybody like ants. I didn't even see people in the hood as human beings. I saw them as ants that you can control them with a little bit of money, a barbecue, or some drugs. It can be good drugs, it can be bad drugs. I used to sit up there and have 3 bags on me, bro, with what I knew what was the best, that had the less cut, the most cut, or medium cut. And I would
You think you've
systematically sell it
reconciled
to
with the
different
black
people.
community? You
You
think
said
you've
what now?
reconciled with the? Do you think you have reconciled with the black community?
I ain't got rid of you know what? It ain't this is what I realized when I was 14 on my own on the streets. It ain't no such thing as a black community. The same way it ain't no such thing as the black and brown coalition. These are just buzzwords and trigger words. And if you was here living in that type of situation, you would see it ain't no such thing as a community. It is kill or be killed if you in no situation. And I would rather be the latter. So I became a predator at 14 against my own people. But like I say again, Elvis, that's where I was. So I took that same mode of thinking and brought it to the business world. You get what I'm saying? And once I did that, everything changed. Now, I don't make as much money as I made when I was on the streets, but I don't have to worry about it. But people know from the Silk Police Academy, shameless plug, is that I walk around with a chopper on me. I go to and I don't even live in the black neighborhood no more. I still walk to the door with a chopper on me. Regardless, I walk around my house with a chopper. If I sit in the living room, I got the chopper right in front of me. Because some things is just in the back of my brain, I just can't let go. But the far as how I see black people is different. Now I look at the black race as a business. And then there's no way that if you're conducting business and the black race is on paper versus any other group of people, and that's the same way, why you think Joe Biden, when he came in there, he told the black caucuses, Al Sharpton faggot ass, all these other type of coons sitting up there, he told them to their face, y'all need to start working with the Latinos. They are up next. This is what he told the black caucus. So imagine you at your job, Elvis, and then a white guy coming out with you and tell you, hey, Elvis, look, don't focus on hiring black people, only hire Latinos. And then you still, as a black person, instead of you saying, hey, man, I don't think that's right, man. You know, we need to boost ourselves up. We've been here 400 years. We shed blood in Selma. Our bones buried here. We got beat up to eat at the table. Why you think them black people that say that? Because they eating off master's lap. Those trinkets, those breadcrumbs that we like to say butter biscuit, is worth $300,000, $400,000 a year to them. They don't give a now. You want to talk about people that don't give a fuck about black people at all? It is commentators of MSNBC, all that bootleg black coalition, none of that. They don't do nothing for black people but come around on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and school time to give away some books, some turkey, and some toys for Tot. Other than that, they don't even care about black people to 2 years. I'll say this and I pass the mic. And Conundrum, I think you in Atlanta and Dynas in Atlanta. Since Reverend Warnock won the election for senator, when last time y'all seen him, heard anything about him, or even him on the news bringing up anything what he's doing for Georgia? When have y'all seen Stacey Abrams, Jerome Bettis looking ass again since she got defeated in Atlanta?
She got a DI job at Howard. I don't know how that works, but she has a DI job at a historically black university, which is.
But it's just like when a failed leader in Africa that was a dictatorship or whatever, when he get exiled, he go live in France somewhere. They give him a little cushy exile. You know, they have stuff padded for them. See, this is what I'm saying. Where it's just like, this is the analogy I use, y'all. It's just like the owners of the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. See, they make this thing like we're a rivalry, but the owners don't kick it like that. The owners stay at each other's houses. The owners sit up there and eat together. But you got all the dumb fans sitting up there fighting each other, talking about we won, we this, we that. We ain't shit. Because we sit up there spending money. The people up there at the top are vacation together. They going having business meeting how they can build another rivalry. Because the low income voters want to have something to fight for because they are perpetual employees. As long as you got a perpetual employee mindset, you will never be a fighter. You'll always be looking for somebody to like or to dislike. And I pass the mic.
Respectfully, I was going to say, man, I want to hear from Philip. Maybe Philip can chime in if he has the time.
I want to tell a brother I'm in New Orleans, I'm not in Atlanta, but I get everything he's saying.
What ward in New Orleans are you in?
I'm in a little village called Holy Cross, which is in the 9th ward.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know we had that in common. My family's in 7th ward.
Gotcha. Cool. Give me a last name.
The family last name is Christoph.
Yeah. Okay.
We own the CNC Cleaners.
Yep, I know.
Christoph and Christoph Cleaners over in the 7th ward. But anyway, I'll let you speak. You started to say something.
No, I just want to tell the brother where I was from, and I felt everything he's saying, and I dare anyone to find anything wrong with what he said.
Let me tell you something, man. They cannot. They never can. Continue.
This is the issue, and high value Tyrone, also smart. You put a lot out there, and I kind of left off where you picked up of. We have to look at who are these people that become Fani Willis.
Yes.
And why are they there? Meaning, when you run for office, you have to fundraise. And who are the people that give the money to put them in office? Is it primarily Black people? Is it primarily Black small businesses?
Nope.
Or is it a combination of some wealthy Black people, some local corporations, and then sometimes some industries?
There you go.
So then from my position or standpoint, the issue is in part who the people are, but there's a larger issue of we don't have a small Black business community to have a foundation for these politicians. Meaning, if the politicians, let's just take this guy that people have attacked a lot in Chicago, Brandon Johnson. If Brandon Johnson bucked the National Democratic Party the way the guy in New York did, is he A, more likely to have a federal investigation opened up against him, or B, less likely to have a federal investigation opened up against him. Because who gave him the money in New York or in Chicago to become mayor? Was it the Black community?
Nope.
Or was it a coalition of the party combined with local corporations and elites?
Special interests?
Yeah. So from my standpoint, that's the larger issue. And what winds up happening with a lot of our discussions as Black people, not necessarily on this panel, is that we wind up fighting over which plantation treats Blacks the best. And they're both plantations. And that we don't have, let me be more clear. I have brought this up before. I think it's relevant now. The small hats and the Saudis will have more impact on this election that we're about to have than anything Black people will do.
And Asians.
Well, I was going to go to them next. But those two groups are microscopic in the United States as a demographic. Both of them are way in numbers smaller than Black Americans. Yet, all of the major issues you literally have those two groups going around to the national politicians and saying either you're on board with what we're doing or we're not, or you're not. And if you're not, I'm going to give X amount of money to your opponent to get you out of office. And if you doubt me, just Google it. Just Google, you have countless politicians that are saying this is what's happening to them. Now, where do Black people fall in that? They don't fall anywhere, which is why they don't get policy. Because economically, they're not a force to be reckoned with. And
tell the truth, Philip. Tell the truth, Philip. Do we even want policy? Like realistically.
I disagree with that. I just think Black people don't spend enough money in politics. Black people have a lot of spending power to just choose not to spend their money on politics.
I don't know, but you know, and also Elvis, I've watched the Focus on Liberia channel, which we've talked about on this channel before many times, and I see a lot of the same things happening in Liberia, a former colony of the United States, that happens here, where the people get wrapped up in the politics.
It was never a colony of the United States. But go ahead.
I know Dinus was going to say that.
In correction, what would you call it, Dinus?
It was never a colony of the United States, unless you. I mean, you're a lawyer, Philip. Unless you could prove that the United States is Liberia a colony, then
well,
you know, hey,
let me put it this way:
American Colonization Society.
Was it in foreign policy influenced budgetarily by the United States?
It was a dumping ground for freed slaves. That's what Liberia was. It was a dumping ground.
Okay, so let's just deal with this. The shipping licenses and registry that Liberia is responsible for, where is that administered out of?
Like somewhere on the East Coast.
Virginia.
Right.
Not Liberia. Can we explain why?
Yeah, but that's not an example. You know what? I'm sorry for interrupting you. No, just go ahead and continue. I'm sorry for interrupting. That's a whole other topic.
But it's a relevant point because I brought it up.
Yeah, but that's not proof that America is a colony. That Liberia is a colony of America.
Liberia does not control one of its most valuable resources, which is shipping licenses. There's an office in Liberia that's supposed to be administering it, but it's actually administered from Virginia. So where's the money going? Is it going to Liberia or is it going to Virginia?
It's going to Liberia.
Is it going to Virginia?
No, not true, Dinus. I'm a Liberian, and I think you know this. There's a shipping company called the HPX Terminal. They have control of our seaports, and they collect the taxes and the customs in our country. I think they have that deal for the next 20 or 25 years. It's been a controversy in our country. We talk about it on Focus on Liberia and other platforms. A lot of people are unhappy about it. So no, they don't control the shipping, the duty tax that we get in our country. We don't control it.
It's contracted out. That's normal. It's contracted out.
No, it's not normal what's happening in Liberia. But I mean, we're kind of getting off track. What I raised it to say is it's a distraction method that goes on with us as a people to have us fight over social issues and issues of distinctions among us, as opposed to focusing on money and how to actually build an infrastructure that we can circulate money and be more influential as a political force. That's what I was trying to say. And I think it's true in Liberia, and I also think it's true in the United States.
But let me ask Elvis a question as a Liberian that he says and that what black people want in America. I want you to just name me since you know this, because I've been here all my life. So tell me the 3 policies that black people, we ain't even talking about all of them. I'm talking about 51% of black people. I'm gonna go 50, no change. I'm gonna go with 50.001% black people. Name me 3 policies that black people want and black people act for. Elvis, since black people want policies, name the 3 policies. Because I ain't never, so when you said you finna tell me something new right now, because I ain't never heard of them. Not policies, not gripes, not complaints. I'm talking about policies.
All right. First of all, I never said that black people want policies. I said black people don't spend enough money on politics. When Philip said that black people don't have the spending power of the small hats, as he called them in the Middle Eastern, I disagree with that, because I said black people have a lot of money, but they choose to spend the money elsewhere rather than influencing politics. But you have to understand, all politics is local. When you're talking about federal elections, that's different. But where you really see politics is on the local level, at your city council, at your your state level. That's where you want to go and ask for certain things that affect your community. It's not just on the national level. Things that happens to things that affect black people in Virginia may not affect them here in Minnesota, where I live. So it's not about finding a policy that all black people agree with. It's about what you want in your local community and your local schools that you advocate for. So it's on the local level.
But
he can't even tell you. He can't
Yeah,
even
but hold
tell
on.
you.
Hey,
what
let me
black people want in
respond to that real
Minnesota.
quick, Brandon. I'm gonna give it back to you. 5 seconds. See, that's where what you're saying don't make no sense, because Asian people, Jewish people, all these other people that handles local politics also, they still have a combined messages
What is the
federally.
combined
Hold on, let me
message of
finish.
the Asians or the
Let me
Jews on federal level? What is
just
their
let me
message?
finish for a second, bro. You said that. You said what you said. I'm just telling you why it don't make no sense, because every other group of people has. You get what I'm saying? Every other group has a policy where there's pushing. They have money. They have lobbyists. And Philip is exactly right. We don't support each other. We have no type of organization other than some bootlegs that are sub companies of the Democrat parties. That's all they are. They're like a tentacle of the Democratic party, and that's all it is. But what we don't have in America, we talking about people 50, 60,000. This one thing that I 100% agree with Brandon on. We be so busy trying to give Pucanisha and Travanius some food stamps and some benefits. We don't give the middle class help to get out of working a middle class job, making 50, 60,000 a year, and he wants to be an entrepreneur, but he can't get no help. He don't get no subsidies. You get what I'm saying? He have to come up with all his money straight up and take care, just barely making in a middle class neighborhood, trying to take care of his family. But the people that ain't got shit, they can go down to the state house and sign up for 134,000 programs. Go ahead, Brandon, man. My fault, man.
That's not true. Quickly, that's not true.
What's not true?
Hold on. Entrepreneurs have a lot of grants and a lot of programs that help them. So when you say they don't get any help, that's not even true. There are help out there for entrepreneurs, especially black entrepreneurs. So don't say
What
that.
program?
You say you're an entrepreneur. You never benefited from any.
That's why I'm asking you to. That's why I'm asking you to tell me, because I looked for them.
Look, maybe you're not looking hard enough. There's a
No,
lot of programs
not,
out there.
no, no.
Now, hold on, hold
See,
on.
Dinus,
Hold
this the
on.
last time that happened on your
Hold
show when you asked him to come up with some facts
on.
and you asked
Hold
him to
on.
give you some information. He can't never tell you. He can't
Hold
never
on.
take you to a information or a link. I remember that the last time on your
Let me
show,
say
Dinus.
this.
He was
Let
just
me say
throwing
this.
out some shit and you asked for some links and he couldn't give you nothing. I'm asking him straight up. Tell me the programs.
He can't listen. He can't give it to you because Elvis is one of these people who are African who have got in on the victimhood hustle against black people. Elvis understands that if he just says a bunch of things that victim-minded black people want to hear, they'll always take his side. There's a lot of African people who are catching on to that and they're exploiting it. It's just like African preachers. They understand there's a bunch of idiots who believe in Jesus and all this stuff, and they can exploit them. And it's just moving across the water, right? But the thing is, instead of telling you about a program that can help an entrepreneur, he'd rather give you excuses and agree with you or perpetuate the victimhood mindset within people. But what I ultimately wanted to say was, we, just like every other group, give our money to the things we care about. It's simply that Negroes don't care about politics. If the new Charger come out, we find a way to get that. If the new Challenger or the new G-Wagon come out, we find a way to get that. That's what we care about, being able to pull up on everybody we know with the new whip talking about, yeah, dog, ain't it clean, right? Tariq Nasheed's fake museum, we care about that. That's why he was able to gather $2 million to not even do what he said he was going to do. So at the end of the day, I'm not blaming, the Democrat and Republican Party are two wings of the same bird. We don't know what's what in this world because we don't participate in anything. And I think it's highly irresponsible to be dismissive of any political tactics or strategy that could be employed if we don't even attempt to do it. We don't even attempt to see what's going on. Nobody can make an accurate diagnosis on what could happen with black people politically unless black people start making attempts at taking political action in favor of the things that they desire. But the problem is, no, black people don't desire the same thing. Negroes talk a really good game, but at the end of the day, when it comes time for the rubber to meet the road, where it comes time to put your money where your mouth is, we just slink back, find a way to say, you know what, I want to do something else with it. For example, that gelatinous bastard Killer Mike, right? I lost all respect for Killer Mike a long time ago when he did the trigger warning show. That's when I knew he was an op. And that's when I knew he didn't give a damn about political change for black people. That dude talked about, he had got like 20,000. He said he had went and did some shows and he got like so many hundreds of thousands. I guess he purchased a farm. He says, shoot, my wife had to tell me to purchase a farm because I was about to go buy me a new car, right?
That's exactly what he said.
He said, I was about to go buy me a new car. That in that moment told me this Negro's mindset. He had already been talking about politics for 5 or 6 years prior to that, but he was still of the mindset of, ooh, I got a couple $100,000. Let me go buy a car. When I knew when the nail was stuck in the coffin was when this guy was just recently on some show. I forgot what show it was. And he said, stop worrying about the presidential election. Worry about your local politicians. And on my channel, I basically made an observation. How are you still telling black people to ignore the presidential election and focus on local politics when your local politicians don't even do what you want them to do anymore? The local Democrat politicians take their orders straight from Washington and do whatever Washington wants them to do. Look at Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Look at Eric Adams in New York. You have to pay attention to the presidential election in the United States now more than ever, because the lower level politicians are no longer doing the will of the people. They are making it clear. We, especially the liberals, they are making it clear. We are no longer falling in line with what our constituents want. We are looking to Washington. Whatever they tell you to do, tell us to do, that's what we're going to do. So you can say whatever you want to, but I'm not a fan of sitting in the pot while it's getting hot, trying to look outside the pot saying, well, what's going on in the pot don't matter. Well, we in the pot. So we better figure out a way to turn the stove off or either get out the pot. But as a mass of people, we're not going to leave America. So to sit up and act like the answer to dealing with American politics is a non-participant approach, it's just irresponsible, especially while you're sitting up looking at other groups, even black groups like the Ethiopians and the Somalians. You're seeing them make change, get what they want through political process. Why would you sit up and watch other people benefiting from participating in political process and then say, you know what, the answer to our problems is to not participate? That doesn't even make sense.
Well, Brandon, one of the biggest issues that we have is our families are not in a foundational way like some of these other ethnic groups that are coming here to be able to build anything. You know, the number one, if you look at that book, Freakonomics, the number one reason that people are in poverty is the weakness economically or strength economically of their family. And because of that, then it becomes hard to talk about doing anything that's even a bigger scale lift, like trying to be a politically influential party, when you can't even get any kind of agreement in your own family household. So it becomes one problem begets the next problem. You can't build a business if you can't keep two parents in the household. And so, huh?
Philip, what if you did? What if instead of being like, yo, we can't keep the family together, we do what every other group does. Let's incentivize keeping families together. You could say, hey, let's push for a candidate and tell them that what we want going forward is a $5,000 yearly tax credit for all two-parent households. You know how many people will go get married for $5,000 a month on a year on taxes? All the people who live together now, but they happen to not be married, will go get that official paperwork saying, dude, we're going to get $5,000 a month. I mean, $5,000 on our taxes because we're married. You do all. It's very simple. Incentivized. Go ahead.
Can I respond to that, Brandon? That I think that would be a good start, but I don't think it's the first step. The first step has to come from within. That we can, having two people together based on a tax break, while it is encouraging, it does not mean that they will be able to stay together and actually benefit from the tax break. Which what we want is for people to be able to stay together and to be able to build, because that's the way our tax code is set up. But unfortunately for Black people, our structure is completely different, where most of our incentives are looking at how much money from the outside we can get instead of how much money from the inside of our family we can build. And that change has to be done within ourselves beyond what other political things we could take advantage of. And what do I mean by that? And this is kind of the tough talk, and I appreciate you, Brandon, for bringing it up. There's a discussion about generational concentric circles of wealth building, where it usually takes most Americans 2.5 generations to move from the working or underclass to the middle class. But we don't want to talk about that because on media and television and so on, we see people jump from dire poverty to the upper class. But that's not actually how it works. How it works is you need at least 2 generations of strong families sticking together, raising their children, sharing the wealth, inheriting that wealth to be able to move to the next class level.
And we're not working on any of that. And I
At
don't
all.
think that necessarily politics will solve that. That's
I
something
want to
that,
say,
yeah,
I want
go
to
ahead.
say this one thing. Let me say this one thing. They used incentives to break up the black family, nuclear family. All I'm saying is let's try to use incentives to bring the black nuclear family back together. It's a
I
start.
get it.
I'm not saying that it's a fix all, because that's what black folks want. We want a superhero to come down from the sky and say, I'm a fix everything. It's a start. And I'm not even saying as far as like the government saying that. We need to be introducing policies and ideas that can help mend our people, mend what's left of our community. At the current time, we're not doing that. At the current time, the message overwhelmingly from you, Tariq Nasheed, and every other person who is, could be making an impact for the black community is stop participating in politics. Dinus, am I wrong? Do you not get the overarching message from all these grown black men where it just seems like they're just telling our people, hey, man, don't worry about politics? We've been doing that for decades, not worrying about politics. It ain't getting us nowhere. So to keep saying we're not going to do it,
Brandon, before you
just
go
a
further,
second.
because I think you raised a good point, and let me give a response to you. I am not saying do not vote. I am not saying that you shouldn't vote your heart of what you think. I am, however, saying that the foundation of a good black family is the example of a good black family. The foundation of raising children well is the example of raising children well. And what we've got now is a bunch of broken pieces that we hope to spitball together through some sort of policy in order to make it work. And that's just not how it works. The best example of how a man should behave was my father and my grandfather, not somebody that was up at the gym no, it was having a father in the household to teach me, and to have a grandfather and to be able to go to his house and be taught. We've gotten away from the fundamentals. If you don't have that, yes, I agree with you. All of the policy initiatives that you're saying are good. But if you don't have the things that I just described, they're just policies. They're not things that we can implement.
Let me
But
say
Philip,
this.
we got more dysfunctional family members than we have dads and moms like yours. Go ahead,
Let me say
Brandon.
this real quick. We sit up and act like, I don't know who has kids and not have kids, but people who don't have kids and don't take care of their kids and stuff, they don't understand the true power of the family unit. The parents teach their children, right? A single mother can teach her son that he needs to marry a woman before he has children with her. A single father can teach his son or his daughter, hey, you need to make sure that before you live here having babies with these dudes, they marry you. Y'all committed, right? A married couple can teach their kid, the goal is to be married, not out here to just casually having sex with different people. To me, if the parents take that stance, instead of the stance I see parents taking now, do whatever you want to do. Yeah, whoever you love, just run with that person. If we start actually taking some damn responsibility for the upbringing of our children, instead of making it seem like, oh, Lord, look at these kids nowadays. They just lost. They this. That's the difference between us and other groups. Other groups don't make excuses for allowing their children to go down into destruction. They do everything they can to influence the decisions that their children make. Black people make it a crime to try to control the decisions your children make. Oh, you can't. If I have a daughter, I remember a long time ago, my daughter has locks, right? I decided to put locks in my daughter's hair because her mom was just being lazy on doing her hair every day. And I was like, look, if you don't want to do it, just lock it up, bro. Like, make it something to where it doesn't need a bunch of maintenance. Do you know a bunch of black females tell me, why would you do that to a young kid's hair? What if she wants to change it? Because in the black community, the number one priority, and Dinus, you'll agree, Hustle Smart, you'll agree, Philip, you'll agree, and I can't see his name, Delroy, you should agree. In the black community, The number one priority is doing whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, however you want to do it, and can't nobody tell me nothing. It's simple to change that. It's simple. My daughter is going to college. I said, what do you want to do? I want to be an artist. I said, yeah, you're going to be an engineer first, and after that, we'll support you going ahead and doing whatever you want to do in art. People tell me, you got it, her teacher. You got to let her do what she decides to what she decides she wants to do. I said, well, it was her art teacher. I said, are you going to sit here and tell my daughter that artists don't make any money? I said, you're an artist, right? You teach an art, right? I said, do you make a lot of money? She said, well, I don't make a lot of money. I looked at my daughter. I said, do you want to make a lot of money? She said, of course, Dad, I want to make a lot of money. I said, well, why would you do what this lady did? And she's telling you she don't make a lot of money. But we don't want to have those conversations with our kids. Your kid's not going to fucking be president. But we don't want to have those realistic conversations. And what I notice is the Filipinos have those conversations with their kids, the Vietnamese, the Indians, the Nigerians, the Ethiopians, they have realistic conversations with their kids, while African Americans feed their kids a bunch of fantasies, let their kids get indoctrinated by social media, and then tell their kid, don't ever let nobody tell you what to do. You do what you want to do. And guess what? If they don't agree with it, they hate it on you. That this is just the messaging that needs to change. It doesn't take anything to change the messaging.
Philip, before you say something, Philip, before you say this one thing, before you go on your spiel real quick, let me explain something to you real quick. This is one of the rare situations where both of y'all are right. Both of y'all are right. Well, two things can be right at the same time. You're right of what you're saying that it started in the household, and Brandon is right about the shock treatment. The shock treatment came in the 70s and blew the shit up. Blew the black household up, gave women incentive to be here and not for the man to be here, for the women to be their own black girl revolution, right? And you're 100% right that your father, grandfather, it was your role model and they was the best teacher. But the funny thing is, Mr. Phillip, your grandfather and father was the exception of the rule. I can't. When it started from my dad, my grandfather was the worst person in the world. So most black people don't have that dynasty in their family where you can get 2 generations of solid black people that can teach something. You're the exception to the rule. So I get by what you're saying. Without that guidance from your parents, no telling where you would be. You get what I'm saying? But Brandon is right also about that shock treatment that some people are so bullheaded and so arrogant, you can't tell them, you can't sit down and have no conversation with them, Mr. Phillip. You're gonna have to give them some type of shock treatment. So that's what I'm saying. When you got a whole society, your part of what you saying can work on a group of people, and what Brandon can say will work on the people. But at the end of the day, it will always be people like me that wasn't the part to either one of that and just was out there in the streets fending for my life. So I couldn't, that's what I'm saying. Even though both of y'all are right, I couldn't relate to either way what one of y'all was saying. So it's always going to be a group of people that's going to be lost. And the reason why I was lost out there, Mr. Phillip, because nobody was stopping me. Nobody was stopping me. It was black. Think about it like this. I was 14 out there on the block selling dope all day in Mechanicsville and Techwood. Right now in Atlanta, it's the Georgia Tech has the apartment. 14 years old, sitting out there all day selling drugs, and not one person said anything but do your thing, young blood. Do your thing. That's what they were telling me, young blood. So what I'm saying is, it's always going to be a part that's lost in the shuffle. But what I'm saying is those two things where both of y'all can be right at the same time. Go ahead, Mr. Phillip.
I agree with both of you. I agree with the whole panel. I've heard Delroy before, and I have to get out of here. So I just wanted to give my last point. I agree with you, Hustle Smart, High Value Tyrone. I agree with Brandon. I agree with Brandon on a lot of things. And what I'm trying to say is we all can be correct and work together on the things that we just said. I agree with what you're presenting. What you're showing, all of you guys, is the different shades of the community. We're all one thing. My comment to both of you guys is to say, as we have the picture of Fani Willis up there, she is a second generation lawyer. Her father was a success that had a household that produced her, and that it's house by house. That's how you build it. In the case of High Value Tyrone, there are going to be some families that are weak. And it is my view that the way that those families become stronger is through the community, not through government policy. The government policy can help strengthen the community, but you got to have the community first. And I will just use the example of, there were young kids. My grandfather was very devout to the church. And there's a reason for that, and I think I've shared it in part, was that he grew up on a reservation. His father, who had a business, was lynched. And so he wound up having to go live with his grandmother on a native reservation because his father was lynched and his mother died 2 years after his father of illness. So he didn't have parents. But what made the difference, what made the difference for him was the community. And it was, yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Listen, let me tell you something real quick, and I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Look at the example you gave about Fani Willis, right? Oh, she's a second generation lawyer. Her dad's a piece of shit. Just like Wade's mom is a piece of shit, because Wade mama knew he was married and sat up on a cruise ship with him and his hoe. Her daddy knew that Wade was married and sat up and watched his daughter be a hoe to some dude who was married. Stop with that. These people are corrupt, degenerate, negroid-minded people who just happen to have a certain educational. Let me finish. Let me finish.
You are automatically attacking them.
Man, I'm
attacking the structure.
What I'm telling you is no, I don't care about that. Your mama and daddy was married. Your daddy then sat up and watched you laid up with a married man. His mama then got on a cruise ship and partied with her son and his mistress. This is what I'm telling you. Because once Negroes get to a certain status, it's can't nobody tell me nothing. But if you go to the Indian lawyer, look at the dude, Pat Bet David. He got a YouTube channel. He's rich as hell. He'll sit up and talk about how his mama had an influence on what he does. His daddy had an influence on what he does. His community holds him accountable. So everything he does is within the scope of, damn, how will I be received by the community? My boy is a Chaldean. They live down in Detroit. These are Babylonian. They like white people. They Arabic. He said, dude, you can't cheat on your wife in my neighborhood. He said, you can't have your hoe coming through in my neighborhood. He said, man, those people will shame you so bad if they find out you cheating on your wife. You will just want to leave Detroit and never come back. We have no morals from the top to the bottom. This guy got on stage knowing his daughter is corrupt, knowing she was over there funneling that money. He could have took a thing like, he could have said, look, I'm just not going to be involved. They get up and lie. This woman went and stood in a black church and lied from the pulpit, and everybody in that church knew she was lying. This is why I keep telling you, it don't matter the profession, how prestigious, it don't matter the religion, until we start nurturing intact, functional families where the men stand on truth, where the men stand on honor, right? We're going to keep having this problem. I don't care. I don't want my daughter to be like Fani Willis. And that's what we're teaching our daughter. Ooh, look at her. She's a second generation lawyer. She's a second generation hoe, because that's what she chose to make herself to be. She tore down what she had in the legacy of her family to go be some dude's mistress and steal money from the taxpayers of Atlanta. People like this need to be excommunicated from our community, not looked at as an example of anything positive.
Well, I will say this, and I was trying to give a last point on this. Brandon, I would argue that corruption of individuals is across the gambit of cultures. The difference for Black Americans is there is no accountability device that we have of our culture because we don't control it. It's controlled by whites. And we have allowed that to happen. That's kind of what your channel is about, to try to reclaim control of our community.
But it's not
community.
But
Yeah,
it's
it
not
is.
controlled by.
It
Wait
is.
a minute. Listen.
Brandon.
Wait,
Literally,
wait,
let me make my
let
point.
me show.
and then you
Wait,
can
let me
respond.
show you. Let me show you. What
Brandon,
is
you gotta let
controlled by.
him finish, bro. I know you be getting upset when people cut you off, man. Let Philip finish.
This is it, because we could go back and forth. And Brandon, I love when you contribute to these conversations, and because Delroy has waited patiently.
All right, we'll
Brandon,
go to Delaware
literally,
next. Go ahead, Philip. We'll go to Delaware next.
The zoning that actually created the Black communities and the highways that cut through them created the Black communities we have now. That the red line maps, you can look at them now, and pretty much like 80% of what's on that red line map are the same Black communities, and those were federally drafted. Black people had no input on those. The country wasn't even desegregated. So yes, we have a thought of a community, but no, it's not controlled by us. Where we live was dictated by the government, and that government was not controlled by us. So but I understand your point. I think it's a valid point, and I'm gonna let
We'll pass to Delroy. Go ahead, Delroy.
Hey, peace, everyone. Well, I tell you, I wish we could, instead of this every night, we could find solutions, right? But this is what I have to say. My job, right? I'm a contractor, and my job for the past I'm semi-retired now, but my job for the past 25 years, almost 30 years, is to work I worked in about almost 38 states. So I have to work and live, right? Or I have to live where I work for about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time. All right. And from what I observe, I know Black people have been blamed for everything, right? Because of social media and so on and so forth. But the most dysfunctional neighborhoods, homes that I've been in is white. This is what I see with my own eyes. Okay? I had to break up fights in white homes. People getting divorced, all different type of stuff, right? When Black people do stuff, it's double and triple, right? I don't know if you guys watch news all the time. 90% of the time when they show something in the news and a white person does, you don't get to see the picture. That's how I know that person is white. Because you don't see the picture till later on. Black person, instantly. We always have to be triple, right? We can't get an A. We got to get an A plus. All right. So everything always fall on us. All right. So everything is in the light. So this sister right here, she should have been more careful, because anything you do, you try to put a little money in your pocket, boom, they're gonna get you. All right. So you have to be careful what you do. All right. White people do this all the time. They are the ultimate thieves. All right. That's why we're here. They are the ultimate thieves. And they keep stealing. They are the ultimate warmongers. All right. They're ready to start World War III right now. Right. So, I mean, there's too much blame on Black people. Black all the time. Black. All right. Let's talk about the solution. We had communities before. We had excellent communities. All right. We talked about this before. All right. They drove it out of us. We had all these things that we talk about. We had that. We started out like that. We had it. Excellent, thriving communities. They either burn us out or they flood us out. And it's one thing after the other. Take the Black man out of the home. Right? Most of the people on welfare are white, even today. Most of the people collect food stamps are white, even today. A Jewish dude that I knew, an older dude, he died now in Brooklyn. He told me Jews came here to steal American money because they can. And they come with a lot of money and put it under the mattress. And they apply for everything and they get it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right? when I was younger, I was in the courier business, and I started a company, and I did everything that they said black people supposed to do. Right? I had about an 800 credit rating. Right? And I couldn't get a loan from my bank that I have my business account in. Right? I said I want to borrow $50,000. This was 1989, 90. All right? I said I want to borrow $50,000. Oh, we don't lend 50,000. You got to borrow 100,000 or more. All right? And I said I don't need that much. All right. So anyway, when I decided I'm going to borrow the that much, they said I have to what are your assets and clients and all that? I said I'm just starting out. All right. I had clients, but I'm just starting out. But I need more money so I could hire the drivers. Right. I need so I could pay them, because my clients is going to pay me 90 days out. Right. They wouldn't give it to me, although I did everything that they asked me to do. You see, and my own personal bank that I'm doing business with, on my business account, didn't give me the loan. All right, so we have to be triple. Them Koreans can't even speak English. They get a loan just like that. All right, all of them come to get the loan just like that. No problem. 1, 2, 3. It is really bullshit. Right. So I just want us to stop being so hard on each other all the time. Let's concentrate on the black people that's doing well and help who we could help. All of my friends are contractor or their own business. All right. My 2 children are extremely successful. My brother, my sister, and so forth and so on. All right. And all my friends that I know. All right. And to talk about Democrats and Republicans, I don't know no one that's going to vote for Democrat. All of my Democratic friends, they all voting for Trump.
Can I say something really quick? We're hard on each other. We're too hard on each other. Negroes want everything easy. Oh, you too hard on us, bro.
That's not true, Brandon. Easy. Black people's ultimate hard. What are you talking? You know that.
Okay. I'm black just like
hard for every damn thing.
That ain't true, Delray. That ain't true, Delray.
Let me finish.
Oh man.
Listen. You brought up the lady.
That's what I mean by too hard.
You brought on the lady on this thing, right? White people gonna bring you down. Dynast, I just want you as the level-headed host, because I get out of control sometimes. Who brought Fani Willis down? The white man or Wade's wife when she told on their ass?
I didn't say white people bring her down. That's not what I said. I said she should have been more careful, because anything she does, right? Anything she does, right?
She should have stole more carefully. This lady stole.
Listen to me, Brandon. Everybody, white people steal. What are you talking about? Everybody steal. I'm just saying.
Delroy, if my kid, I didn't interrupt you. If my kid listened to you, they would think it's okay to steal as long as you don't get caught.
That's not what I mean. You know that.
Listen,
you know I don't mean that.
What I'm telling you is this lady got brought down by her affair she was having with that man.
Everybody have an affair,
That's
Brandon.
fine. That's fine.
No, that's definitely not true.
Listen.
Everybody have an affair. What I mean, everybody, black, white,
That's
Hispanic.
the funniest thing I don't heard. Delray said everybody steal. He said everybody steal and everybody have affairs.
No,
I've never heard that before.
Everybody have fear. What I mean is the races, the different races, people in the different races. That's what I mean.
Let me make my point. This is the difference. We ain't got no other DA in Georgia sleeping with a prosecutor to the point where their wife is bringing it out and they're getting indicted. These people got caught up because the wife came forward and was like, these two are having an affair. They were cheating. He was cheating on me with this lady. That's what ultimately brought Fani down. It wasn't the white man. The white man.
I didn't say that.
I look, from what I heard, you were like every time.
I didn't. Okay. No, I'm just saying. Right? If you're doing something as a black person.
I didn't interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
But listen, we love to live in the realm of plausible deniability. I talked about this lady needs her own husband, go get married. You know, maybe if she was married and cared about her family instead of being a feminist, since she was raised by her father and she's second generation. Well, what went wrong to where she's a feminist now? Getting on the stand, oh, this because a black woman, and a man telling you all a woman can do for me is make a sandwich, and you still decide to open your legs up for him. This is what I'm saying. The hypocrisy in our community is undefeated.
The
She's a feminist.
hypocrisy in all communities. That's all I'm trying to say.
Listen, but this is the problem with black folks. We always deflecting, but we'll talk about the negative things that other communities do and say, look, everybody do that. Well, let's also talk about the positive. Let's talk about
let's talk about a positive thing that we do then.
Listen.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
It's no equal to the positive thing. It's not. That's what Brandon's saying. It's no equal, Del Ray. Same way how you saying that they cheat and they cheat and they steal. But let's compare it to the businesses. Let's pass it to the entrepreneurship. Let's compare it with technology. Let's compare it with evolution. We're not competing on those levels.
What do you mean technology? What do you mean technology?
Listen, Del Ray, wait, bro. Listen, bro. You're doing something that makes me dislike black old men a lot, because what you're doing is you don't want to hear what I have to say.
You are going to get there someday.
Do you know how to control your mouth? You're 50 years old. Do you know how to
hey, yo, Brandon, we're not having that today, bro.
You just made me not interrupt him.
We're not having that today, man. Watch your time.
Dinus.
No, we're not. No, we're not having that today.
All right. When he talked, I didn't interrupt.
Yeah. But we don't need
every 5 words.
But you don't need to speak.
And this is why the black community gonna stay fucked up, bro. He's just filibustering what I'm saying. No one said, "Hey, Delroy, let him talk."
But at the same time, Brandon, you don't disrespect the brother. All right.
This is why our younger generations grow up and say, "Man, F the black community," because they always have to do something, but then they get disrespected on the back end. Bro, I got a wife too. I've been married 20 years too. But what I got to accept is something that he don't got to accept, because, we got to respect this guy. Respect is earned. I sat there quietly while he said what he said. Then when I start trying to talk,
I understand that, Brandon. But Brandon,
go ahead and talk, Brandon. Go ahead.
I wouldn't even do that to your son, and he's a little kid. I would say, what you got to say, little man? Let me listen to you. But it's okay to disrespect me.
Go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk.
This is why our community is in tatters right now. He defending a damn hole. I'm trying to bring it back to
I'm not defending her. I'm not defending her.
All right. Anyway, let me tell you, I know that the people who died to get us to this place are on my side, because those people understood what it meant to be a community. I know that we didn't get here by accident. I know that the older generation has to keep blaming the white man, because that's how they hide their failure, but they can't hide it. I listen to them talk for 5 minutes and I say, damn, I see exactly why we got to where we was at, because somewhere along the line, these dudes didn't do what their fathers did. They went and deviated from that and used a bunch of excuses to justify it. That's what is really going on here. And what I'm telling you, you could say I'm not giving a solution. This last thing I'm going to say. You better do for your kids better than what these people parents did for them, because these people's parents did the right thing, but when they became so successful, they felt like their success was a license for them to allow their kids just to do any and everything they wanted to do. You be successful, but be like other groups. Stay on your kids' ass. Don't let your success make your kids weak. I'm in Africa. I talked to somebody whose dad's in the government who won't even give him 1,500 shillings because his dad said, no, you need to learn how to get it on your own. We don't do that. Our kids drive around a Mercedes-Benz doing drive-bys. Tell me it's not true. Our kids are super parents, 2-parent household. Parents are millionaires. They out here want to run with the gang. Why? Because we feel like our success gives us an excuse to allow our kids to be degenerates. Daddy will bail them out. Daddy will give them the money for the lawyer when he fuck up. And we talk about other groups. They get a loan on the spot and this and that. Bruh, anyone can get a loan. But you know what they do? If they don't get a loan, they don't sit up complaining about it. They go put their money together. They go hang around people who really want to see them be successful, do a susu or whatever they do and get that money up. I got friends who are Haitians, couldn't get a penny. They daddies couldn't get a dime from the bank. You know what they did? They put their money together, not complaining about what the white man won't give them. It doesn't make sense. He's your enemy, but then you get mad when he won't give you a loan. But I get a loan just fine.
Let me say this. Let me say this real quick, Delray. Let me say this real quick, Delray. This is the thing with the white people do it too type of narrative. You get what I'm saying? Like the only way that would make sense if we wasn't the third minority. See, we can't put nothing on the majority because I'm gonna give you are you Jamaican descent?
Yeah.
Let me give you something that a Jamaican told me one time. The boot will never respect the ant. Never. So the ant cannot compare himself to the boot. In America, white people are the boot. In America, black people are the ant. We used to be glorified massa's dog, but we ain't even that no more. We have been downgraded to the third. So think about, hold on, let me, Derek, please, man. We have been downgraded to the third minority. These are facts, Mr. Del Rey. These are facts. We are down to 42 to 45 million black people. Our black women, so quite plenty of air quotes, are aborting 500,000 babies, and black men are fighting for that, rooting for that. Do you know how many Latinos is coming across the border? Do you know how many Latinos have came across the border in the last 4 months? Over 1 million. So think about it like this, Mr. Del Rey. In the last 4 months, it has been more Latinos coming this country. And it's been more, it has been more than black women have aborted 500,000. Do you get what I'm saying? We're killing our own. We're sending our own out here to focus on entertainment, focus on athletics, being a superstar. Let's start with that. Entertainment, being basketball, football, baseball, and we a job, then an entrepreneur. We don't teach our kids how to be entrepreneurs because most black people don't even know what an I-9 form is, Mr. Del Rey, and you know that. Now, you might say the people that you know. You get what I'm saying? But that's what we call anecdotal. That's your experience is your experience. We're talking about the majority. See, actually, you might not even understand this, but you actually practicing individual success. You talked about your friends. You talked about the people that you know, but that's just not how. That just ain't how it is, and you know that's not how it is. Because,
how is that individual?
Because hold on, Mr. Del Rey. Good Lord, bro, let me finish. I swear, you let me talk. You let me talk for 3 minutes. I'll let you talk for 30 minutes.
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking.
Go ahead and ask. Go ahead and ask, man. If you think that's good enough, go ahead.
I'm just how what I said is individualism. You don't know me personally.
I'm not saying it's anything bad, but I'm talking about even in your explanation of the successful people that you know. Do you get what I'm saying? If we're not willing to help people that are not as successful as the people we know, that's individual success story. Don't get me wrong. I practice it also, Mr. Del Rey, but I know that I am an individual success story. I ain't trying to bring nobody else up but the people that I know. You get what I'm saying? I ain't trying to take a risk on nobody I don't know.
I mean, I'm trying to get to what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that you know for a fact that the black race is not an entrepreneur race. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, I would say they are.
Oh, okay. Let me. Just for you saying that doesn't make no sense. What do you think the percentage of it is of black people that are employees and entrepreneurs? Just tell me what you think.
I'm not sure, but what's the percentage for other people?
It's higher than black. Mr. Del Rey, black people are the lowest. This is what we were saying earlier before you came on the platform. For us, hold on, let me help you out. Let me help you out. For us, entrepreneurship, for us, education, we talking about for average balance in your bank account. We talking about generational wealth. We talking about home ownership. Black people are the last. But you know what black people are number one in? Out of all other group of people, we're the third minority, right? We're number one in abortions. We're number one in incarceration. We're number one in childhood literacy.
Hustle smart.
Hey guys, let me play this video because we're about to close out. But this is Fani Willis. She just got an award from the Black Church. This is
Dinus. Yeah. Just 1 second before you play
this. Because the second's gonna turn to 5 minutes.
No, it's literally gonna be no.
Okay, listen, you got 20 seconds.
Okay.
20 seconds.
What I want to remind people before Dinus play this video, Fani Willis is in an elected position. She is a representative of the people who voted for her. You got to understand that everything she does represents you. That's the difference between her just having an affair and a regular person having an affair. So when you watch this, understand everything she does is a testament to your thinking and the type of people you are, because we went out and voted for her majority. Just know that. So if she does some hoe stuff, they looking at us like these people support hoe stuff.
Yeah, all right. Let me play this video. So Fani Willis just got another award from the Black Church. Black.
Come on, aggressive feminism.
About her relationship with Nathan Wade, or at least according to a witness testimony, a lady that worked in her office that had, but she's taken to the pulpit to essentially try to appeal to the Black Church after receiving a Black Achievement Award. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what is it about Fani Willis running to the Black Church after getting criticized, but this is what she does. And then you have the people in this church who applaud this woman for essentially ruining a man's marriage. Okay, that is what they're doing. Okay, and this is believe all Black women on steroids, even when the evidence suggests that this woman is a liar and she is a homewrecker, a 304 prosecutor. But again, they didn't stop her from taking to the podium, being welcomed into this church to accept a Black Achievement Award. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what she's accomplished. Okay, I think it's like a Black History Achievement Award or whatever, right? And this is what she had to say. It really is a shame that they're allowing this in church. Okay, this type of just clear political campaigning and propaganda in church, especially considering how there's good reason to believe that this woman lied on the oath, but nobody should be surprised because she will lie in church, right? She will lie in front of God, in front of her people. Okay, so, hey, nobody should be surprised that she may or may not have lied on the oath about her relationship with Nathan Wade and when he started throwing his hot dog down her hallway. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
I've learned very, very recently, because you may need this lesson as well. People keep sending me scriptures, and I appreciate those scriptures, but different people from all different walks of life keep sending me this one scripture, and I don't think I ever really heard it till maybe 2 days ago. People send you stuff, you read them, they just kind of become things you recite, but you don't really think about what they say. The scripture they keep sending me is, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." I need y'all to hear me, though. They did not say the weapons will not form. And that's the part I didn't hear until recently. Just because they won't prosper, it doesn't mean that they won't form. Even if you feel like everything you are doing in your life is the right thing, and you're making mistakes all along the way, but you're trying, you should not think that those weapons will not form. The other lesson that I've learned in this 3 years is God ordains those weapons. He puts those weapons in your life to form against you.
There's so many interpretations of that. Okay, I mean, is she saying that
right?
That's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life, and they clap for it. That was the dumbest.
But hold on,
thing.
brother. That's your church, ain't it? What you Seventh-day Adventist?
No, I wasn't Seventh-day Adventist. I was Jehovah's Witness. They wouldn't let that hoe get up on stage. What the hell? They gonna say Fani. They gonna say Fani. They gonna say if she was a Jehovah's Witness, they would say Fani, we think it's best that you don't come while you dealing with that because it brings reproach. The scripture she need, Dinus, is Proverbs 26:27. Whoever dig a pit for somebody else will fall into it, and he who rolls a stone up a hill to do mischief, it will come back on them. That's the scripture she should have got up there and quoted.
Hey, Dinus, because I'm the elder, since everybody say I'm the elder, can I get the last thing?
You got the last word, Delaware. You are the elder, sir.
All right, I just want to tell the people them that said as far as individualists, I'm on the contrary of my friends. Some of those people became my friends because I trained them. They were perfect strangers until I met them, and I trained them, and they became my friends. So we could put that to rest.
Okay, cool. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Delroy. Thank you. Thank you, Delroy. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. And Delroy, I appreciate it. In fact, from everybody on this panel, I appreciate you guys' support. It really means a lot.
All right, brother.
Yeah. But hold on one second. Before you leave, Brandon, I need you to do me a favor, Brandon.
Oh, God.
Apologize to Delroy, please.
Oh, my God. I can't. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Sorry, Delroy. I apologize for saying some harsh things to you.
Not a problem, and I like being I do like being the elder.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we got to close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dinus and Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Okay. Peace.